beep. Oh, fuck, I don't know why I like squeaked there. I'm a little sad.
Wow.
Well, rip. All right, chat. We started the stream off bad. It's gonna be a bad day, I can tell. So, well, welcome to another Fireside Chat. Today, we're gonna be talking about a lot of new video game news because some stuff has happened, and actually, a lot of good news, and also some other things. We're gonna call the bad stuff other things from now on. So, how are you doing, Chatfish? Are you excited? Are you happy? Are you wiggling in your little buckets of justice? For justice. I want Mamu to have a my body pillow.
I think not.
It's what he
I'm not enough of a weeb to have a Dakimakura, I'm sorry.
You will when we're done
No.
with you.
I am glad I
think
don't
it's
know
the
half these
third
terms.
one.
Don't know.
Dakimakura, body pillow.
There.
Look at Fuzzy trying to pretend he's a normal
Yes,
human
he's
being.
like shoving
like-
his body pillow under the fucking bed, like fuck,
Yeah.
fuck, fuck.
Fuzzy has a Felix and a Stolfo body pillow.
I
I
know
don't
it.
even know what that is. I don't even know what that is either.
Claiming ignorance doesn't. It only confirms your
fucking
guilt. It only,
You know I'm not a weeb.
Okay, I know what
That's-
Soulfu is because
That's what
I
a
don't know who
mega
did it.
ultra super weeb would say.
Yeah.
Sounds like projection.
Yep.
As he
I
hides
have,
his
to, I, have to
pictures
ask
of
more, I
Saber.
have to ask Morty for translations all the time of what does this trash mean.
See what I mean? He's like Palpatine, dude. He's like fucking really pretending. He's like, oh, I
Wait,
don't
does
know
that mean
what's
Fuzzy's
happening.
gonna just all of a sudden turn into like a raisin for no reason?
He's like,
What?
I am the hentai.
I am the hentai.
Does that mean I can say unlimited power whenever I want?
Oh
And
no.
electrocute
Gotta
Lightning on my
make
fingers.
He does that thing from
Whoa,
Dragon
whoa, whoa!
Ball.
All right, look, we said he's a weeb, not Mexican. Come on now.
we need to have a Fuzzy avatar where like his orc is like he has like the Japan fucking headband. He has like the Naruto Dakimakura under
That sounds
his
like
arm.
such mega cringe, Bino. Go into wood chipper with you.
Vitalik, if you're constantly buffering, you may need to refresh.
Yeah, YouTube. You might need to do that with YouTube.
Also,
It's been
somebody should
hectic.
probably type that to him because if we say that, I don't think he'll hear it.
So, Chatfish, tell Vitalik to refresh.
Yeah, Hippo's got it. There he goes.
Yeah, Hippo got it.
All right. So, the first article we have is Valve wins lawsuit against Rothschild and associated entities with a jury agreeing they violated an anti-patent Troll Protection Act. The court also agreed that they breached a global license agreement with Valve. Earlier this week, the District Court of the Western District of Washington favored Valve Corporation in its... Sorry. I feel like I'm having a hard time reading today. Okay. District of Washington favored Valve Corporation in its 2023 lawsuit against Live Rothschild, I hope I pronounced the name right, and his associated companies on all counts, including breach of contract and the violation of Washington's Patent Troll Prevention and Consumer Protections Act. Rothschild is an inventor with a huge array of patents to his name, granted and pended, covering an extremely broad range of fields. He also owns or leads a host of companies that manage the business side of patents. In this particular legal case, Valve alleged that Rothschild himself, Rothschild Broadcast Distribution Systems, LLC, display, blah, 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 bunch of like legal names for limited liability companies and stuff, and Samuel Meyer were guilty of bad faith assertions of patent infringement, amongst other things. The patent in question was US 8856221B2, a system and method for storing broadcast content in a cloud-based computing environment. Rothschild Broadcast Distribution Systems, or RBDS, owned the rights to that patent, and in 2016, Valve obtained a perpetual, irrevocable, royalty-free, fully paid-up worldwide license for its and others Rothschild portfolio. However, in 2022, Display Technologies, or DT, sued Valve for infringement of one patent covered in that agreement. And then, in 2023, Valve received another claim from Rothschild's lawyer, this time concerning US 8856221B2. Obviously, I'm just going to say the same thing. It's from the previous patent. All right, there you go. Obviously, Valve's legal team decided enough was enough and filed a lawsuit in return. Makes sense, right? What makes this particular case of note is that Valve didn't go after one company, but several of Rothschild's companies, plus the inventor himself, as well as his lawyer. After several years of slow progress, the lawsuit has now concluded, the jury giving the nod to Valve over every dispute and claim. For example, the court deemed that Rothschild TD had breached the 2016 license agreements in 2022 and that Rothschild RBDS did not have a just excuse for their absolute repudiation of their obligations, because they did repudiate their obligations by going back on it, of that agreement in the 2023 letter to Valve. Perhaps most importantly of all, though, is that the court declared that Leigh Rothschild and his associated entities listed in the lawsuit had all violated the Washington Patent Troll Prevention and Consumer Protections Acts by claiming that Rothschild's entities are effectively his alter egos. That's funny. Sorry, go ahead.
As Chatfish have been pointing out, this specific Rothschild is notorious for hoarding patents, and then he abuses patent and consumer laws and sues people and gets them to settle.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a common way of how some of these companies make money. They buy the patents and lawsuit and then try to collect the fees from the patents. It is disgusting, utterly disgusting.
But what this does do is it prevents him from being able to sue for these reasons in these jurisdictions. So this was up in Seattle where Valve is. That means that they're now protected from frivolous lawsuits as far as like copyright claims and all that for patents and whatnot. I hope more states would adopt a similar laws preventing basically trolling, because that's what this is. It's a wealthy person abusing laws.
Yeah. And that's basically what happened.
It just so happens they went up against a fucking juggernaut in the form of Gabe Newell, who is also a multi-billionaire, and his company is worth billions, so they actually had the resources to fight it.
Yep, so Gabe Newell got into a boxing match legally and basically beat the crap out of this guy. So this is just a pure good thing. Again, this is abuse, much like there are various types of legal abuse that many of you chatfish are probably familiar with. DMCA, aka copyright abuse.
Hold on, I gotta do a quick correction on Morty. It is not a state thing. This is actually throughout the entire U.S. This was a federal case.
Is this? Oh, he violated the federal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is federal law. This is federal law
rude.
violation, which means it is even stronger, which means there is now precedent with this. If you are a patent troll like what this Rothschild did, you are much better protected than the U.S. after this. Of, hey, you can't just buy up these patents, not do anything with them, and just sue people now.
Yeah.
And funny enough, this is honestly badly needed, because stuff like this actually prevents innovation, this kind of patent trolling. If you want to innovate off something, which innovation is not copying, that is a well-established U.S. law. That is why we have all this fancy tech we have.
Yep.
It's just
I mean, patents are a big problem. That's not just in like this particular case. Patents and patent abuse or patenting mechanics has been a travesty, even in game design or game mechanics, since as far back as like Final Fantasy. I believe it was Final Fantasy was the notorious copyright patent abuse thing, where they basically patented a time-based mechanic for RPGs, and that basically, I don't remember the system. I wish Robin was here. Basically, there was an RPG. I think it was Final Fantasy. I can't remember 100%. Chat, if you remember.
I think Pokemon did it also. Tried to do it also.
There's a mechanic that was patented. Yeah, Pokemon does it too, and it's basically one of those things where when you patent a mechanic, a great example of this for more modern chatfishes would be the Nemesis system from Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor, either game, same system. That was patented, and which means that it cock blocks people from trying to make things similar to it because they're afraid they're going to get sued. Even though realistically, I don't think they should be able to do stuff like that. So anytime that happens. Now, in this particular case for this patent, it wasn't about a game mechanic. It was about oh, Jesus Christ. It was about a particular service, but yeah. What Fuzzy is saying is pretty much spot on. The fact that it's a federal case means that anytime they try to abuse this particular thing, it will be a lot more difficult because it's just going to get thrown out now because this is precedent.
Yeah, as patents, they're supposed to protect you from copying 100% copycatting, not doing some kind of side grade or some kind of, hey, I'm going to do something very different that's a actual alternative. It'll be equivalent of Windows trying to sue Linux as trying to copying Windows. It's like that's not how it works. It's supposed to be you can't just copy Windows and then sell it. That is what the patents and copyright and property protections is supposed to be for, not what the Rothschild is doing.
Hmm.
So this is just flat out good news.
It would be nice to see this sort of stuff, though, move into the gaming design and mechanics thing, because this is a problem. Like, Nintendo recently did this with Pal World with the, like, monster capturing mechanic thing, which is, again, outlandish. It's like trying to patent things like XP gain and level ups. I patent the system. Like, if we could wind back the clock in terms of early game development history, we could literally wind back the clock to a point in which RPGs were introduced and literally patent, like, leveling as a system. Any system that attributes a resource that generates to a certain threshold that allows the character to progress and generate new skills is a level up system that is unique to our, proprietary, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just nuts. It's like, oh, real-time mechanics and real-time strategy is our system unique because no other system can do this because we came up with it first. Like, fucking what? Like, okay, Command and Conquer comes out, and then no other game came out. No StarCraft,
So
no nothing.
the dangers of copyrights like that you actually see in a heavy industry. You see this specifically in the instance of consumer PC parts. If you're familiar with cooling for like CPUs and stuff, a lot of water coolers are all-in-one coolers you buy. There's no innovation because one company has the copyright on the pump design. No one can innovate, so it's literally a monopoly. So
The
everyone
most
has to use what's called an Asetek pump, and if you don't, you get sued.
sorry.
It's fucking nuts, which is why that has stagnated for so long.
By the way,
At least in the U.S. Over in Europe, they have actual innovations in the pump designs because they don't have that.
Yeah, they have
But
actually
here in
have a
the
lot of
U.S., we're
fantastic
stagnant.
work. Yeah, they have a lot of fantastic workshop designers and custom part designers over in Europe, where you can make all sorts of fancy cooling. It's actually quite great.
Mhm.
by the way, like for anyone thinking that like this patent trolling is just patent and doesn't go anywhere else, if you ever had to do any academic research, it unironically explains why a lot of like innovation also has stopped, because like in academic research, if you're studying something and you come to a conclusion, you have to do a bunch of extra research just to make sure that no one else came to the same exact conclusion before you. Because like even if it's something super obvious, like, oh, if you didn't reference the person, like it's basically like a black mark on the your research, and it holds you back and stuff like that.
No. Before
Yeah,
we
one other.
Hold on.
go
Before we
ahead.
want. Oh, good.
No, go ahead. Get
Yeah,
your
there's
thoughts going.
one other legal thing of why this is really 99% sure this is iron set in stone is that it was a jury verdict. U.S. courts are very hesitant to overrule jury verdicts. It is almost impossible. It's almost impossible unless, say, something horribly wrong with the process. So if anybody had any concerns that, say, maybe an appeals court or the Supreme Court will potentially overrule this, no, they really do not like overruling jury verdicts.
Mhm. I mean, this is just I think this is just a net win for pretty much everybody
Yes.
involved.
Agree.
Except the one person who deserved to lose, which was lame. But yeah. Now, Hippo Gemini donates a generous $50 and says, "Remember, my fellow fish, we are children of the Lord Almighty. You are always loved, always cherished. Bless all of you. Greatness awaits you. I require a new fish. Same artist as Metallic Chair. We are having a contest. Hashtag Give Choice. Thank you for the $50 donation." I assume that's for a regular catfish? Because regular catfish are
No,
only...
I've clarified with him. He wants a fancy fish. He also donated 5 memberships before.
Oh, okay.
They're doing a contest to see whose is better, essentially. So they both want a fancy fish from Indio. The Metallic Chair donated $60. Says, "Fancy fish from Indio, please. Bino's choice. Bino, what is your non-overhead?"
Clans.
You sick fuck.
And Hippo Hegemony also donated 5 memberships. So did Harlot. He donated 1 membership.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Did anybody land on the bounty targets?
No.
Damn.
Mr. Twisted Frenzy also donated 10 euros and says, "All hail the God Emperor Gaben. He must not be allowed to perish. We must place him on the golden throne and sacrifice 1,000 patent lawyers to stain him."
Yes. I
You
mean,
said-
hold on a sec. So, like, yeah, no, that's pretty good. It's genuinely a good thing. Honestly, like I've said before, we've talked about this for about a year now. The big concern I think we need to talk about, and I hate to bring this up, but it is worth talking about, is Gaben's succession, right? He's old.
He's 63, I believe.
He's 63, and not to be rude, he's a little overweight, you know? It's not good for your health, especially at that age. And my biggest concern with Valve and Gabe is the future, the legacy, right? I hope Gaben lives to be, I hope he outlives me. I hope he lives to be like 170, 180, 190, 200, whatever.
So he has lost a considerable amount of weight recently, but that does do long-term damage to your organs and stuff, being that overweight.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
I mean, it's good that he's getting healthier because he needs to live long, super long time.
I mean, for Christ's sake, he's a multi-billionaire. Like, he should be the healthiest
Best
fucking asshole.
medical, stuff you can buy. Yeah. So the big
The
thing,
man loves life, and a part of him loving life is food.
But yeah, so he should. I don't know what Valve's successor policy is, but unfortunately, one day we're all mortal. We will all die. Somebody needs to be in line for the quote unquote throne. And we don't want a philosopher king situation where you have one great guy like Gaben, and then you have like his son take over. And I was like, well, fuck. And then everything goes
As long
down the
term, that
drain.
doesn't work.
Everything goes down the drain. Like it just will not work. You can have a great king. You can have his son be good, or even greater than him, like Alexander the Great was compared to his son, right? But what came after Alexander the Great? Nothing.
He did not give a successor, and he just told his generals, "Whoever's the best gets my empire," and they all started trying to kill each other.
And so his empire entirely imploded upon itself. You know what I mean? Like, it's entirely important that the legacy and the future be led by somebody who's got the strong convictions, convictions, and basically
Virtue.
principle, virtue to a degree, to maintain Gabe's vision, right? Because when Gaben's gone, his vision must be maintained. The vision he's had for Valve isn't flawless, but it is damn better than the alternative. And it must live on. It must carry on. Because Valve is like a beacon. And one thing that always worries me is that what happens when Gabe is gone? You know what I mean? Like, where do we go after that? Like, if Valve takes a turn for the worst and Gaben's legacy is destroyed, the empire he built comes crashing down, then all those games, all those systems, all those things Valve has going for it is just completely ruined. I just hope, and I genuinely hope, that the people working at Valve maintain that vision. Maintain that. Because what would absolutely terrify me is if we started seeing things like, here's a Half-Life Netflix show, here's a Half-Life, movie, here's a Half-Life game, here's a bunch of Half-Life stuff. Half-Life, Half-Life. You know what I mean? Because
Be
the
like
reason why we
the
don't see it,
Tolkien estate, basically.
yes, the Tolkien estate, because eventually, once you go further enough down, right, Tolkien's son dies, what happens? Eventually, you get further enough down, the grandson, great-grandson, one person in that line will fuck it over, because like anything, it will happen eventually. It happens with every dynasty, happens with every legacy. There will come a time in which one person along that line, just like in my family tree, right? Like, I guarantee you there's all sorts of bad rotten eggs. There's also good people too, but that goes for everybody. Not everybody's perfect. And that's the reality. There's got to be some sort of safety net, some sort of system in place. Otherwise, Steam, Valve, all the greatness it has become will be completely washed away. And what will be the alternatives? Epic? Are you kidding me? GOG? Are you trying to laugh at me? EA Play? Oh, I'm sorry. Uplay? Oh my god. Like, what are we gonna do, boys? What are we gonna do?
Now, from what the little of we've been able to dig up on Valve's ownership structure, in practice, it's going to be whatever Gabe says. That's a simple practicality. Now, if I did my research right, and we can't know for sure because it's a private company, the employees, which, as far as we know, they're very tight knit, do have ownership where there's employee ownership in the company, which means there is going to be at least a counter influence. We don't know the percentages, but if the employees have enough say, hopefully it means they can pressure Gabe enough to, hey, if you're going to pick somebody, you got to make sure it's somebody that knows how to run the company to make sure there is that kind of pressure on Gabe to be very picky.
Pick somebody from the studio, pick somebody from Valve, somebody who is of high merit, right? Don't pick some outsider. Don't pick like Schmuck Joe on the street. Don't pick some fucking executive friend or whatever, because Steam and Valve being private is one of the reasons why it's safeguarded. Publicly owned things have their place and have benefits to them. But the issue with publicly owned and traded things is that, like all things public, it becomes worn and dirty and degraded. When you build a new, public restroom, it starts off clean and pretty, and well maintained. But over time, that publicly owned thing becomes dirty and icky, and it's just like, that's what happens. That's like a company, too. Damn, speaking of that publicly owned bathroom,
I need to run the bathroom.
Bino's running over there right now.
Yes.
Making
Privately traded corporations are far better in terms of like they're not at the whims of whatever fucknuts gets in because they have X amount of stocks, right? I don't think anyone actually knows what the plans are for when Gaben eventually croaks.
Yeah,
I'm
because we're
sure
not
that they
privy to
do.
that
Like people
information.
like that with that kind of wealth and power have those plans. They just aren't public.
Yeah, because that's his private
Um,
estate, and that's
mhm.
usually estate planning, and that's very private information.
Yes. So that is something to be consider. We don't know. Hopefully it goes well. But yes, all it takes is one person in a familial dynasty to fuck it up. Because someone can tell you all day long they care about this thing, they'll cherish it, and then the reality is all they care about is money.
Yeah, when it comes to human organizations, you need some kind of checks and balances. I can't believe I'm using U.S. terms. Checks and balances in terms of power, because that's when you have all that power focused in Gabe. Long term, you always need some kind of process in place of if something goes wrong, there's a check on it. This has always been throughout human organizations. It's also funny enough, part of the reason why publicly traded organizations do have a tendency to work is because you do have a lot of a back and forth and power struggle to keep CEOs somewhat in check. Obviously, it doesn't always work, and it's struggled in gaming due to gaming's unique place in the market. But focused on Valve, all we could do is be vocal on social media of, hey, Gabe, make sure you have this plan sorted out, because we don't want everything you've built to go to ruins. And don't be mean about it, just say, hey, we are a bit concerned about this.
Richard Phillips donates a generous £5, says, when Gabe goes, the neoliberal millennials will take over. Feminization, woke rubbish, greedy twats, going public guaranteed. I don't necessarily think it's guaranteed, Richard, but thank you for your donation. It's the same worry, though, I do have. I think it's uncertain, right? But I do think it's important to be worried, because if Steam goes public, like, it would make a shit ton of money and blow up huge. But by going
It would
public,
make tens of billions.
like, the issue with going public is that it means that it's on a ticking time bomb. Also, you're going to get foreign powers investing into it, because Valve and this Steam entity is regardless a huge heart, a huge organ of cultural propagation. By seizing this cultural propagation, others can manipulate things, right? Imagine Tencent getting a foothold in Steam and Valve. Imagine the power they would have. The amount of censorship. All of a sudden, any games made by Taiwanese game devs disappear. Any games made by Korean game devs disappear. Japanese devs disappear. Anything that's offensive disappears. Blood and gore begins to become censored. That's what happens. Any sort of pro-democratic games are all of a sudden censored because you can't have that. This is the issue with allowing things like that to take root. That's the issue with
And
going public.
that's not a conspiracy, by the way, Chatfish. That has happened with foreign investment into companies who are otherwise neutral or just didn't approach things. All of a sudden, they become hyper partisan.
Because in the early days of the industry, going public and going shares and stuff like that helped a lot of companies throughout history, but also hurt them. It's a mixed bag, right? Ups and downs to things. But by going public, what it does is especially in today's climate, is even worse. Mostly because if you're making video games, you're making cultural pieces of media, and people have deluded themselves into believing that he who controls the video games will instantly be able to convert people to whatever philosophy they have. We know that doesn't work. We know that has a complete opposite effect, but it doesn't matter. What it will do is it will completely destroy, censor, and hurt games that are good because those games were offensive. And so it'll be even more hard to find them. Now, in the information age, we live in a weird time in which information of discovery is insane. For example, there are so many games that unfortunately didn't stand the test of time. They were ported to certain nations, or they were, they suffered from various issues when releasing, when marketing, they just came out in a bad window. Because we live in the era we do, we live in an age where we recognize the gems that were missed. Because we've had people go through and dig through every single game. People who are fans of the Sega Saturn, the Sega Genesis, just the 90s era of gaming in general, the early 2000s. And they nitpick and comb through every single game categorically until they find each and every gem, and they make little videos about it. They talk about it on boards. And so because of this information age, we can now filter all the bad from the previous generations and only find the good. However, acquiring these things is incredibly difficult, especially some of these games, because of their age and how old they are. By introducing public shares and stuff like that, it's going to make it very difficult. Steamore has a lot of protections for you already built into it. For example, there was a game that had Total Biscuit in it, a reference to him. I don't know who Total Biscuit really is, but he was like somebody who was important or something at some point. But this game talks about him, about him for a little bit. It's called like Necro, Nekro or something. I own it. There's a game about being a necromancer. It's pretty cool. But the development had some sort of trouble, and there was some sort of bullshit and drama behind the scenes between two people in the game, and it led to a schism, which basically killed the game. And so the game is gone from YouTube. And so, or not YouTube, sorry, Steam. And so you can't buy it anymore. But because of how Steam works, I still own it. And example, Battlestar Galactica Deadlock. I bought it real quick while it was on sale. I didn't get all the DLC in time, so I had to buy it from one of the DLCs from like a Kinguin thing, and it was like $150, and I want to blow my brains out. But like, that's why. But now because I own it on Steam, I now have access to it forever. I can just download it whenever. But that's a thing that Steam has, right? That's what Steam allows. And Steam has this thing where we have different versions of the games. That is an old feature that was taken away because pressure from developers, but it's now coming back because Steam has decided that it's not worth it to listen to them, and it's going to give more power to the player. In the current industry we live in... That was weird. Sorry, that was loud. Did you hear something? No? Okay. Strange. All right. Something very boomy happened. I was like, bang! But all right, someone must have dropped something. Either way, so the big thing is that when it comes down to it, something about fucking French fries. Oh my god, what the hell was I talking about? What the hell was I talking? Help me! I have ADHD. If I get distracted by something, it's like a dog seeing a squirrel. Speaking of squirrel, there's a Bucky in chat. Hello, Bucky.
Yes.
Now, what the fuck was it? What the fuck was I talking about? Help me! It was leading to a really good point.
Let's rewind the tape, Chatfish.
That was really agitating. No one was paying attention. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Come on, Gibbs, you can remember.
You were talking about games being ported and like people picking over them in Total Biscuit.
Yeah, okay. Total Biscuit. Yeah. No, why the hell was I talking about that guy? I don't even know anything about him.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. You didn't know anything about them, but like there was a falling out between a game that
Oh
involves
yeah,
them
video game states and
or
preservation.
referenced him.
Yeah. Because we have that because Valve allows us to have these nice things. We can. The big thing was mentioning that we have previous versions of game states where we can revert back to previous builds. We can also do certain things like, keep our games even when they're removed from Steam from copyright reasons, like if you own the Fable or the, Cybertron games. I almost forgot their names because it got pulled from Steam, right? You can still download them, you still have access to them, and that's an important feature. That's very important. So having those
Yes.
things is nice. And these quality of life things we have is because Valve cares to a degree. They do care about the consumer. They care about our money, yes, but they know how to get our money. Just like Activision Blizzard cares about you as well. I know some of you might not believe it, but they specifically think there's other ways to get your money, or that they can't get their money some way. It's just how a company perceives you is all about the money you have, right? And if they think that, well, you do have money, but Group B has more people, so therefore they have more money than your group does, and so I'm going to waddle over to Group B and appeal to Group B instead of Group A. Group A likes vanilla ice cream. Group B likes strawberry. I'm going to stop producing vanilla and make strawberry. But that tub says vanilla ice cream on it. Yeah, but I want Group B. You know what I mean? That's what they do with the video games. Ice cream references. But yeah. Now let's see. Oh my god. Did we miss any donos? Okay, we missed that one.
Yes. So Metallic Chair donated $30 and says half for Sturhaus Fancy Fish from Indio's choice. Well, he's not here right now. And then Hippo Hegemony just donates another $30 and says, gird your loins, my fellow fish. We must be strong. We must stand firm. For we fight for righteousness and beauty. The Reconquista was 700 years ago. We will win. This is the other half for Sturhaus Fish. Morty Choice. Bless you all.
Thank you very much. Very generous. But we're not the only ones, by the way, that do this. We're not alone. There are other groups and other content creators and other people that are fighting for basically consumer rights. There aren't many, but I will spotlight a couple I can remember off the top of my head. Like Accursed Farms is currently leading the SKG movement, the Stop Killing Games movement, which is wonderful. I'm absolutely supportive of them because, again, if anything can be achieved with that'd still be a victory. Because again, video games that die disappear from the market. Now that's mostly going after like live service games and MMOs, because what happens when they pull the servers down? An end of life plan costs nothing. It just is an end of life plan is literally something like, well, we're gonna turn off the servers one day, and it's gonna be probably guaranteed for 3 years, and once the servers are down, it's over. That's end of life plan. It's just honesty is all it is. Whether or not they give server tools, whether or not they allow server hosting, it's different. It would force companies like Arrowhead to give an end of life service plan for Helldivers 2 and Helldivers 1. And I love Helldivers 1 and Helldivers 2. And Helldivers 1 still runs, but they should have an end of service plan. And an end of service plan is just telling us the truth of what happens. What happens when the servers go down? What happens? What's the plan? Is the plan that's it? That's the end of the story? Or is the plan that you're going to release server hosting tools or something? You're going to tie it to Steam Network or something? Or you're going to set up some sort of automated system that keeps it running through the Steam Network? Like, what's the plan? And that's all it is. That's all it's ever been about. What's the plan? And so people like Accursed Farms basically lead stuff like that. And he's one of the more noteworthy figures. And then there's like that Josh Strife fella, who's also big on that too. So yeah, there's some good ones out there, and they're doing good things, and that's what we need to see more of. We also need to see more of it, not just for that, but like video game preservation is a war that must be waged on every front, right? What happens to movie license games? That's an interesting one. What happens to the Dune movie license games between EA and Frank Herbert's estate? You know, we can't buy them anymore. We can't buy Dune 2000 or Emperor Battle for Dune.
Yep.
It's gone. Or what happens to the Tolkien estate games, etc.
They sit in a weird
limbo.
Legal limbo, essentially.
Yup. And something must be done for their preservation. There must be some accord that EA and the Tolkien estate and Frank Herbert estate, etc., and all these other companies can reach in which we can get these games. Because, for example, limited run games recently pulled the Jurassic Park movie games from the NES, SNES, Sega Genesis era, Game Boy, etc., that era. They pulled them games from Steam, right? And all those old Jurassic Park games are now again lost yet again, despite coming back. It was good that they came back, but it's bad that they're gone again because it's bad for video game preservation. And so it's like, okay, the limited run thing, because I don't know much about them. I'll be real. The only thing I've ever gotten from limited run is I bought my dad a present because he loves Command & Conquer. I bought them the limited run like box for Command & Conquer remastered because, it was a present. And that was it. And ever since then, it's like I looked into them more. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like you put it on Steam and then you just remove it or what? Like there's got to be some sort of agreement that can be reached. That's an equitable and fair agreement for every party involved, right? Surely the Tolkien estate wouldn't mind a slow trickle of finances and revenue gained from the video games. There costs nothing to maintain them and upkeep them. And we know this for a fact because, for example, EA, when they were doing PR, when they came back to Steam, they released Dungeon Keeper 1, Dungeon Keeper 2, Command & Conquer Collection, a bunch of old games, SimCity, etc., etc. EA dumped a huge catalog of old retro games on Steam, and they ran out of the box. And then I did some digging, when we looked into that, they had programmers go through those games for a little bit of money. For a big company, it's literally a drop in the bucket. You couldn't even notice it, honestly. It's like literally the moisture in the air. And they literally went in, clacked on their little keyboards for like an hour. There. Now they work. They work on modern PCs. Done.
So, one thing, I don't know if Valve will ever do this. I would love to see them get into either financially or directly with Steam itself, the video game preservation like GOG is doing, right?
They should all be working together. Like this should be a
Yes.
huge bipartisan thing. Like EA Play should come together. Like I want everybody on board with it. EA should be on board. Ubiquux, I don't even care if I've got beef against them. Bungie, I don't care. Microsoft, it'd be nice to not say the name I usually call them, but like Sony, because the reality is video game preservation is about preserving art for the future. And it's important to recognize video games as art because books get this protection, paintings get this protection, but video games do not. Yet it has literary work in it, yet it has artistic value to it, yet it has musical composition work. Video games have multiple forms of art combined into one piece of media. We must preserve these things. They must be protected. They deserve the same protection rights that art gets. It must be archived and it must be allowed for future generations to enjoy them and see them so that we may learn from them because they all matter. Every game, even the ones I don't like. I know you can look at various streams where I get mad and like, I wish this game was deleted forever, like High on Life 1, right? Yeah.
Or his favorite game ever, Fire Warrior.
Yes, but
And Death
regardless of my salt or when I'm upset or cranky at a video game or when I'm mad at a studio, these things must be preserved. They have to be. All of them. Because there are games that have become lost to time, that have faded away, or we've lost the code to them, and now they're irrecoverable almost. Right? Like a lot of the things like Homeworld Emergence, aka Homeworld Cataclysm, they lost the fucking source code for that game. They don't have it anymore. It was damaged or destroyed, and they don't know how to recover it. And so the only state of the game we have is the game with this last patch and fan patch thing. And so that's how GOG was able to keep it on, GOG, right? But like other than that, it's lost. Like if we lose that ability to maintain it or keep it up, that's a problem. Source codes and all this stuff should be protected too, but the reality is that sometimes a lot of source codes, especially in the early days, are lost tech now, lost information. So you have to reverse engineer things. That's why there are studios that dedicate themselves to this, like Feral Interactive, for example, which specializes in reverse engineering video games from way back when and putting them on your phone. But because they reverse engineered those games to get them to work on your phone, even if they're old, they actually have a team that understands more about that code than anybody pretty much alive right now working in the industry. Even the people retired probably have forgotten. And so there is ways to basically reverse engineer or figure these things out, but it takes a long goddamn time. And that's why it's important that we preserve things. It should be preserved. It's not forcing a studio, right? Even as an indie company myself, for my own little indie project, yeah, when I'm dead and gone, like preserve it by however you mean. You have to. If it means you have to pirate it to preserve it, so be it. If we haven't fixed this issue by now, right? Something must be done to protect these games. Something must be done. Period. Right? Because what happens to games like Universe at War? Chat, go play Universe at War on Steam. What? I'm sorry, I can't hear. Oh, you can't. Why not, little Chatfish? I can't because you don't work. Can't find it. Yeah, because it's gone. It's not on Steam. So you can't play Universe at War. How do you play it? Is that what you're asking, chat? Oh, well, you can go to Abandonware and download it from a website. You might, get some like things. You always good to check those files. You never know. And you can find places that have it on archive and stuff, but like there's no safe and protected way to get it. The issue is by relying on, yeah, we can rely on archivists and stuff like that, but there's always the risk of like viruses and stuff like that, malware, right? Or ransomware. It's always going to be a risk, and I know that's a risk in general with the internet, but we need to have a more safe and secure way of doing it because pushing this underground has only made it more difficult to procure these things. You have to go to sketchy, shady sites. Now, fortunately, it's not so bad for most games. Usually, my abandonware or more clean sites that don't have too much problems are usually safe and stuff like that. But there's always the, added risk, especially when it's more, not taboo is the word, more obscure. This is why it's incredibly important that video game preservation be a huge, huge issue. This is why any studio or any company, whether it's GOG or Valve, be patted on the head and be looked at as something we should protect and cherish and preserve, because Valve has been a genuine force for good for the most part. Same goes for GOG. They have all made mistakes. This is true. But at the same time, if you look at the course of the history of every action they've taken, all the actions they've taken that line up to being a good result outweigh the ones that have negative. Let's see. Virus code or surprise code? Yeah, pretty much. Some games drown in sellable versions, while others die of thirst in the abandonware desert. Yes, that's true. Finding them is also difficult. Not only that, but getting some of them to run because they're not supported, right? Some of them, and credit and kudos and special shout-outs to those brave Giga Chad lads who actually fix games or release fan patches to make them run out the box from those abandoned places, right? That's great. Honestly, they honestly deserve to be recognized and labeled as heroes for video game preservation, because what they have done is effectively protected that piece of media from falling into oblivion. It's genuinely a good thing. But yeah, I wanted to highlight that and spotlight that because I think the SKG movement and things like that are a good thing and a force for good, and I will continue to advocate that we become more extreme and increase our extremism in video game preservation. That's why we must protect movie games too. Movie games are my target, because I've seen so many of them fall into the cracks and get forgotten. Movie games, like at least with MMOs and live service games, usually there's a fan base that'll get like the servers running, like Star Wars Galaxies and stuff. And by the way, credit to the Star Wars Galaxies team. And some of you might not know this, but those motherfuckers reverse engineered the code to get that shit working. Seriously, insane shit, like genuinely. Because a lot of that stuff did not work, and I remember trying it. And it's not a game for me, but like it's impressive what they've done with that. I got to play it for the first time because of video game preservationists. Because when my dad bought me Star Wars Galaxy was when Media Play was around. And let me tell you, we didn't have an internet connection. Yeah, I can't tell you.
Muted.
Oh, we live again? We're live again.
No. Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Maybe refresh.
We're live again. Oh, I was in the middle of setting up a backup stream. But it appears we're back. Chatfish, welcome back. I have no idea where I was in the middle of my story about reminiscing about me being a little baby. All right, so let's see.
I'll probably move on also because we've been on this topic a while.
Wow. Being on this topic. There's no such thing as being on this topic. Now I'm getting revved up and ready to go for round 2. I was like, he's trying to crawl away. Video game preservation is something I will not bend or bow on, Fuzzy. Because the reality is I don't like the fact that games have disappeared. But yeah, basically, to sum up the story, I was just going to mention that how I never got a chance to play Star Wars Galaxies. Ever. Until late, like when I moved out and got this apartment and found out there was a server up because fans created one. And that was the first time I'd ever played the game. I'd never gotten to play it because I didn't have internet at the time. And I only imagined and read the manual about what the game was about. That's it. That's everything. And I was just going to highlight the fact that it's really cool that people actually preserve those things and keep them up because I got to experience it for the first time in my entire life. But yeah. OBS being crap and my streaming PC not being super high quality and able to keep running. One day we'll be able to afford upgrades, chat. But not today. The studio must eat all the finances for the foreseeable future. I'm mad now. I'm mad. I hate when that happens. Fuck. I can't blame YouTube. I can only blame my crappy PC.
Not being able to blame YouTube for once.
Yup. It's just my crappy little stream PC. It just can't keep up, chat. It just can't keep up. It's weak. It's feeble. Alright, so next picture is for another article. Now this corroborates some stuff that we're going to connect the dots on to our Kibspiracy network. So,
Gets out the whiteboard.
why is drama being brought up again, Chatfish, you're probably asking? Well, Fuzzy brought this article to me, and we all collectively sighed, and we're mad at Fuzzy when he brought this up to us. But the reality is...
I was just trying to give a small update, because if we finally... The one piece that we did not know was now been confirmed, and you all just jumped on me.
Yes, and I'll do it again, by the way. But I am sorry, Fuzzy. I am sorry. I'm just so sick of talking about it. But either
As when we are doing a news channel, if there's an update we didn't know of, we need to
I'm not
update
sorry
on
for it.
it.
I refuse to apologize. You deserve it.
Yeah, you can be the double down today. I'll apologize today. I didn't apologize all yesterday, so I have to do it today. So I'm sorry for jumping down your throat, Fuzzy. Because when Fuzzy brought this article, I just about fucking I was like, I don't want to talk about High Guard anymore. I'm sick about it. All right, but there is a bit of information here that's actually important. So, as it turns out, unsurprisingly, Tencent is connected to High Guard, which by extension implies that High Guard.
No, double down on it, High Scum.
High Scum is connected. Is connected to the Game Awards. Ergo, the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley is connected to Tencent. The whole revelation of this information basically corroborates our theory about Tencent basically owning Game Awards, and hence why the Game Awards only prop up like weird Chinese games randomly. And it's always randomly.
No one's ever seen or heard of.
Yeah.
We all know they're sellouts. It's more proof, basically. Yeah. Go ahead. Go, Fuzzy.
Yeah, it was mostly about it, and yes, they did pull the funding, so all of that's finally been corroborated. It was a bit sketchy initially, now it's been confirmed, more or less.
But I want to jump down your throat again. You need to come up with a good reason.
Remember, it is morally correct to beat Fuzzy at all times.
Yes.
No.
He's too happy about being vindicated, and I don't like it. You can tell he's on his little high horse. He's like, Fuzzy, finally. Fuzzy, finally. Chat, the minute he makes one mistake today, we're going to go after him.
As we all make lists of it on each other. Similar to Han's great book of grudges for everybody.
Kib, your graphic card made in China. You are 10-cent shill. I actually don't know where my graphics cards are made, but you're probably right.
You have a 4090?
Probably.
Yeah. And I have 4090s.
China or Taiwan?
God willing, let it be Taiwan. Let it be Taiwan.
Taiwan's the only one that has the high-end graphics card manufacturer.
That means I'm based. Take that, Chatfish. You and your cheap Chinese graphics cards. That means I'm the pro fucking Taiwan guy. Woo!
Yeah, I don't think China has a fab process to be able to make 4090s.
They don't. Because the way the supply chain works, the Netherlands makes the fabrication machines, and they are not allowed to sell to China. Only Taiwan gets the lion's share of them. Because
that's why China was doing the whole black market stuff to buy them.
Yes.
Now, Chatfish, remember, China is a country, but we have to be nice to them. No. Chad's like, what? Listen, Chad.
China will grow smaller.
China will grow smaller.
Oh god, what did Morty just post?
China, but small. China, I have no idea what he posted.
I posted an article Huntsman posted in Bickering discussions.
Fuck, what was I going to say about China? Fuck, no, it wasn't about China. It was about, like...
They're gay and cringe?
Oh, yes, media. So Richard raises something good. Richard, you're a little kitty. Good job, good. He's got a little kitty profile. He says, so China is funding woke slop to help ruin Western gaming? Yes. Yes, in the same vein that Russia funds those, what do they call them? those people that throw stuff at paintings in Europe, and they like lay on the road.
Just Stop Oil protesters.
Yes, they're backed and funded by literally Russians and Chinese.
Yeah,
and stuff.
so in the culture war, a lot of people tend to lose sight. They think it's the West that's the cause of all this crap. No. The West is being manipulated and puppeted. You know who does it? China.
It's foreign interference because the West has no reason to do it to themselves. Now,
Because if you look at things before foreign interference, what was America putting out? Kick-ass video games, movies, women with fat tits in movies. Then all of a sudden, we start allowing China and other foreign powers into our entertainment industry. And what does it become? Fat and gay.
Yep. And then people will deflect and usually be like, it's the people with the funny hats. It's like, no, it's not the people with the funny hats.
That's literally a red herring.
It's called a deflection, and it's easy bait. It's always been a geopolitical thing, and I don't want to talk about geopolitics too much, but the reality is that
soft power attempt of a takeover.
Yes, it's soft power gameplay. Remember, gameplay.
Gameplay.
Way to gamers.
Surprise geopolitical mechanics.
I'm playing my fucking Modern Hearts of Iron. I use Stop Oil. Ha! Your economy's trash. Like,
I use Stop Oil. You are now cringe.
It's like, fuck. People are laughing at me on fucking social media.
Counter with no steel for you.
Throw tomato soup at famous painting.
That's a perfectly
Chat, as
good
Raper
waste of
points
tomato
out,
soup.
don't forget, you can turn on/off different things for the Aerith model. $10.
Yeah. Do you want a chatfish to be licking Kip's cheeks?
But yes, the reality is that no, we're not going to deflect here and blame that. We're going to blame the real enemy because Kibs isn't stupid. It's China. We must destroy.
We must Chatfish. Slight history lesson. After the fall of the USSR, most of their spy and cultural power left the USSR and rerouted themselves over in Asiatic countries, mainly China, because that's where most of the communist power centralized after the fall.
And that's where you're wrong, Richard. China did make people woke. In fact, wokeism was invented by communism.
That's literally a Chinese academic thing.
Yes, so technically the USSR started it. So real quickly, history lesson. Chatfish, you sit on my lap. All right, so look at me, little fish. Now that you've got your full attention, the Soviets are behind it, and they always have been. Now that you might be kids, the Soviets are dead. And yes, they warned us after they fell. Like, by the way, we did a thing, and you're going to have problems down the line. And what was that? They infiltrated our education systems. And what did they do? They propagated this propaganda about literally it's like a poison, is what it is, a soft poison. And that's what wokeism is. It's about basically bringing up racial tensions. It's about bringing up religious tensions. It's about creating divides between people through racial means. And by playing into that theme, you're literally just helping Soviet propaganda from a failed state.
What was the primary thing the powers that be in the USSR used? Class struggle. Economic struggle between the haves and the have-nots. That didn't really work over here because we're fairly wealthy as a nation. What did work? Ethnic struggle.
Yes. And what's a great way to deflect when your opponents? Keep them internally divided. If you continue to point fingers at different ethnic groups, you're continuing to not play the game. And the game has been being played for fucking ever since Rome was around. It's called the Great Game. And the Great Game is basically on a stage that's basically much above where we sit now. It's not an individual person. It's not one group of people. It's not one nation. It's a game we all play, and we don't have a choice whether we play it. We play it every single day, and we will play it, our children will play it, and their children's children will play the same game. And it's a game that's been being played since the dawn of fucking time.
As long as there are two different groups of humans on this planet, the game will continue.
Yes, the game will not end until one side wins. And the reality is no one's going to win this game. No. People have been trying to win this game for ages. Oh my god!
But yes, Chatfish, you're literally getting filtered. You're missing who the actual puppeteers are.
The game is being played and has been played on the global stage. Anybody who knows anything about history will know this. The reality is that the game as it is, as the board is laid out right now, you have 2 or 3 major sort of power blocks. You've got West, you've got East, and then you have kind of like Russia, which is kind of like a sort of like a coal burning ember kind of thing, where it's like it's still cooking, but it's still
They're
not
kind
quite
of their own thing.
not quite extinguished. It's kind of its own bubble. But then you've got China with its tendrils all over the place, and it's doing the
China.
same thing the Soviet Union did, putting its tendrils into everybody's goddamn pie, and playing this game that has been being played for ages. It's not one race of people, and if you think that, you're stupid.
Yep.
It's just
Unironically, that's a red herring.
Anybody that thinks like that, go touch grass and get a reality check.
yes, you're
Well,
out
no,
of
it's not
touch.
that. It's you're falling for the propaganda is the thing.
Mhm.
Yes. It's like
It's propaganda that's been very effective and still is today, because look at how many people blindly follow it. But yeah,
Yep.
the reality is that you can't really help stupid. You just have to let stupid be stupid. They'll wake up on their own or they won't. The most important thing, though, is for those who understand the great game. And the big thing here with the great game and why it pertains to gaming and game development and all this stuff is because they are making this a battleground here because it's soft cultural power. And soft cultural power is what they think is how they're going to win, which isn't. It's what the Soviet Union tried, and the problem is that even the Soviet Union failed. In fact, the Soviet Union collapsed before it even went into
But yes, as Pondozan and some chatfish have pointed out, that's why the AAA Western games industry is on life support, because it has heavy Chinese investment.
foreign interference. And this is why publicly owned and publicly traded things are usually bad. This is why I'm a big advocate for privately owned studios or privately owned publishers. Don't go public. Keep it in-house. The minute you open up is the minute you let foreign powers into your market, into your game. And the minute they see your hands, they start messing around with things. This is entirely what Tencent did. This is entirely what everything else did. And so, yeah. And to explain it to Stone Age, because he's a little slower than the rest of us. But yeah, so basically the how to explain this. So, okay, wind back the clock to the smallest common denominator. So, to understand what the Soviet Union did is they infiltrated our education entertainment industry. And this happened about half a century to a century ago, right? It's a long time, but it had ramifications. And if you ever heard of Red Hollywood, it's a thing. It's fact. It happened. Not only that, but it did have effects. It had effects in the 1970s, it had effects in the 80s and the 90s, and it had more effects in recent years because it's finally gotten through the generational educational system. You got to remember that it takes about 20 to 30 years for a infant to mature into an adult, right? Proper. Not talking about 18, but like being independent, being out in the workforce, moving up in the place, right? And so the reason why I have all these blue-haired, pink-haired freaks is entirely because of the Soviet Union. It's because the educational system has been infiltrated and has been poisoned for many, many generations. Each generation getting progressively worse than the last because that poison taking more and more root. They express, not only that, but I forget, Gregor, what's the guy's name? They literally
Yuri Bezmenov?
they admit to it. They did it. They said they did it. So you can say that they didn't do it, Stone Age or whatever, and you can sit there and pretend it didn't happen, which is whatever. Not my problem. But they literally took credit for it. You can pretend that Yuri Bezmenov, thank you very much, Chatfish, doesn't exist and put your head in the sand. It's not a great look, but you can do it. Or you can accept the fact that they warned us about it. They warned
And
us.
then, as former Ghost points out, it's why the lies about Walt Disney spread. He fought hard against the communist
He
influence.
did.
Yes.
He fought
They
very hard,
spread
tooth
that
and
he
nail.
was racist, that he hated gays, that he was an anti-Semite, all these things.
All
which
these
just
things
was
that were
patently
false. All these things.
there is no
Look,
documentation, no
Disney
evidence
was
of that.
a autist. All he cared about was entertaining people.
Disney was not just cared about entertaining people and fought tooth and nail for his artists. He did.
Yes.
His artists begged him to help him against the fucking goddamn commies, the little pinkos, the fucking whatchamacallit, the union shit that was going on at the time. He fought tooth and nail for their rights and to protect them against that. They begged him for his help. We already know this. You can believe communist lies and propaganda, which still continue to permeate our country and our hemisphere, or you can wake up and realize the Red Menace never fell. once you realize that, you'll realize where the real war is, and maybe you'll get your head in the game and actually be useful for a change. But seriously, though, people do gotta wake
They're
up.
out there, not in here.
They are, and they are in here technically. It's because they poisoned future generations. People have
Yeah.
been brainwashed into believing dumb commie slop.
If I recall correctly, didn't Disney help out McCarthy? He tried to help him with some of the the cultural influence type stuff. Yes,
Mhm.
like in the background. I
Yeah,
don't know if he officially ever did anything.
but yeah, this is going to be a big point of contention. But the reality is that people have been duped into blaming one tiny group of people, thinking that they somehow pull the strings like it's some sort of Hollywood blockbuster. But the reality is the great game is being played and has been played before they were around, and it has been played, and it will be played when we're all gone. It's called the cyclical nature of man, and it's one of these things that never ever really fades. And will never fade. You have to accept it. And once you accept that it's reality, you can finally begin to participate in actually doing something about it. You can finally start fighting back against it. Until then,
And it's
you're not.
I'll be honest, if it's something you're not keen on, or if you haven't been paying attention to, it will shatter your worldview.
Yeah. I mean, it shattered mine when I fucking started waking up to it. I
Because I'll
tried
be
to
honest,
not get
Catfish,
involved.
I'll be honest, there was a time in my life I agreed with a lot of you like Stone Age. There was a time I'll fully admit it. My eyes were opened in the last couple years, shall we say.
Same. Like, for a great part of my life, like 2018, 2019, 2020, like I tried to shut it out, but I had that like thing happen. And those who know the drama that I talked about with my family and stuff, where we had like a bit of a spat, like that was kind of like the first wake up call when I was like, what the heck? And that was when we started doing stuff like that. But yeah. Also, do not kite the line on YouTube's TOS. Do that, and you're going to be getting yourself in timeout for 5 minutes. But only 5 minutes. Seriously, guys,
But
you got to cool it.
But the important thing is this shows that High Guard was very obviously funded by Tencent, as we all knew, but this is the definitive proof.
Yeah. And it basically connects everything like we've been saying for every year. Again, every year we get proven right and more right again. It's not because we're Nostradamus. It's not because we're particularly super smart. It's just because we're looking at the obvious fucking tells. You can see it. You don't need to be me. You don't need to be fuzzy. You don't need to be schmormoo. All the evidence is
God,
there.
don't be me. Go to school, kids.
But the reality
This
is
why.
yes, all the evidence is there, right? And hatred and loathings aside, this is why it's important to point it out. People often get so heated over the stupidest things, don't they?
Kipstradamus. Fuck. Is his name also Michelle?
God. Something will
This is
happen
why-
at some point. There, a Kipstradamus. There you go. There
Yeah,
you
this
go.
is why I like to say, like say statistics, for example. No, you don't need a master's degree in order to learn this stuff. A lot of you people are more capable than you think. It's
Yeah, if you just look at it.
if you're willing to learn, and also a discipline and virtue. It's about discipline and virtue and willingness. It's not about a high IQ or any of that other nonsense.
Nope. The big thing is that you can live with your head in the sand and like ignore it, but the reality is like when it comes down to it, it's like, how do I point it out? Because some people are blockheads. Like Stone Age gets grumpy and he's old and he gets mad. You're a good guy, Stone Age, but you gotta take a chill pill once in a while. You gotta relax. Like the reality is that you just need to look at things from a different lens from once in a good while. Then you'll actually get to see what's going on. Especially because the games industry, it's very clearly one side. Who stands to gain? Who stands to benefit from games being woke? There's only one particular industry. Who's been playing the 100-year century game? Who has broadcasted what they're doing?
Who's tried to culturally shift the current hegemony off its seat? Let's take a gander.
Oh, it's China.
China.
Not only is it China, but who is physically seizing Korea right now? Literally, all the evidence is right there. We've talked about it the last Bunchcast, and yet it's like they don't like. I know I'm hanging up on one
Onimus
person.
did a lot of work updating.
I know. It's like it's all
Blake
there.
says me.
Because like who's okay? So what happened in the last Bunchcast? If you missed the last Bunchcast, you're kind of missing out on a lot of this too. Because the Bunchcast, everything that's happening in Korea right now with their country literally turning on the Western world and basically slowly becoming a communist puppet is because of the great game. It's the great game that's been played and it's being played right now every day. And you need to wake up to it. Don't blame one group of people. It's not one group. Everyone's playing this game. We're playing it. They're playing it. We're all playing it. And as soon as you understand that, you're going to start to see how the board is laid out. Because you can see where the pieces are moving.
A lot of Western, like specifically Americans, but a lot of people in the Western sphere, as it were, are very naive to a lot of this stuff because we grew up in very prosperous, relatively, well, some countries relatively safe.
We also are
countries.
arrogant. We're arrogant to
So
such a
it's,
degree we don't like to believe that it could possibly be China because that would undermine that we're safe. And it's an uncomfortable truth to accept this. You aren't safe. You are being targeted. And the reality is that the war is being played and it's in our court right now, is the reality. And it's uncomfortable to realize that you don't have power. It's easier to blame some small group or small, tiny, marginal group of people because like, oh, it's them. But no, it's not. It's China. It's China.
Yeah, all the work over the past 200 years to say build up the US has led to this arrogant spike is that, no, we're great, look at this past history, surely we don't have any weakness. No, decline is a choice. To quote, I can't remember the name of where that quote was, where that quote was, but as always one I remember, decline is a choice, and that is why China's getting a lot of this right now, and why gaming is why it's seeping into gaming. The great game does not care for your sacred cows, not one bit.
Fuck. Sateno Kun says, I blame one group, the surface dwellers. Fuck.
Jesus Christ. It's Jason Chatfish.
Just looks up from their troughs like, whoa.
But yeah, moving on, because we've now established our point.
Yee.
And I'm not going to walk in circles if somebody ain't going to follow me. I can only hold your fin for so long, chat, before it gets sweaty. Chat, fucking sweat.
Wait, whose hand got sweatier first? Kibbs or Chatfish?
Probably Chatfish. During
Big
the
deal.
meeting, management said that Tencent had pulled the studio's funding, according to people from... Sorry, I just found that funny. With the events... Although the company didn't spell it out, staff were left with the impression that their financing was contingent upon hitting certain metrics, such as retention rate, which they failed to even come close to achieving. Yes. And again, Tencent is, again, another branch of Chinese government. It's literally... our own intelligence agencies know that they're funding and building weapons with this money from Tencent. That's what they do with it. It's anytime any game developer is popular in China, this happens. Now, that's not to say that game developers in China are bad. They aren't bad. They're not. They're victims. They're actually just victims. Much like any of the guys that worked on the Genshin Impact games or whatever. I may not like those games, but they're victims of a system. And the system is that they're part of a corrupt government. Space Monkey donates $5 and says Western companies taking Chinese money must be held accountable. Yes, they can, and they are. You can't just blame China. No, I can. So the reality is that Western companies are equally at fault, and I'm pushing for both. This is, again, we're not talking about the same subject, but thank you for your donation. But get on the same page with me, and we can talk about the same subject together. We're specifically talking about the aggressor. And the aggressor and instigator is China in this case. They are going to be the crux of the issue. Western companies that sell out or betray or do things like that are going to happen. They exist and they walk among us and they're bad and they're not good. And that's all I have to say on that. We're moving on past them, though. But thank you for your donation.
Donates $2 and says Kibb's hand sweated first. He sweats while sitting. Fuck.
False. It was possums. He's like, fuck. He looks at his dripping fin like, ooh. Thank you for the donation. But yeah, for example, Black Myth Wukong, Genshin Impact, the developers aren't at fault. They're not the bad people. The people who made those games aren't evil. They're literally, they just so happen to be born in a country that's not very good and is playing this game with us that's bad, right? This cultural
Yeah.
war. In the same vein that, that's, yeah, because it's always how it should be viewed, and it shouldn't be viewed other ways. Because I've met some Chinese dudes, and they're pretty chill, and I've also met some Chinese developers, and I've also played some Chinese games here. And there can be Chinese games that are well made and that can be fun. And it's not the game developer's fault. It's not the game sector that's fault. It's not their people that are at fault. It's the corrupt system is to blame. It's the reason why we're playing this stupid game to begin with, because they literally live in a communist hellhole. And the minute that changes will be a great moment for not just the world, but for them as well. Because you must remember that it is not us who is the first line of defense that has to deal with this, or not defense, but victims, right? We are merely the next, like, people in that line where that wheel rolls. The first people who suffered this and suffer this now and every day are Chinese gamers. They live in a very dystopian reality. And it's horrible what happens to them. They are good people trapped in a horrible position. And there's not much we can do to help them, unfortunately. But that doesn't negate the problems that we have to deal with from their country. Because their country is literally giving us these issues. Literally, every time we've been proven right. And I'm just tired of pointing it out. Because it's not even like oh my God, being right somehow makes it stop thing. It's just like being right just merely knows, like, okay, we've identified the problem. Maybe now we can start addressing and talking about how we can deal with the problem. But the reality is, how do you deal with Tencent, right? How do you deal with this problem, right? Think about that. Just think about it for a moment. How would you deal with it, Marmu? How do we solve this issue?
Vincent?
Yeah.
So you have to deal with it in a multi-year plan. It's not something you do immediately because so much of America's manufacturing and industry is still in China, while some of it is leaving. Yes, it is still a long-term shift. So here's what you do in the interim. You put a tariff on basically everything coming out of China into the US, forcing our companies to fuck off from China, come back to the US. You give them tax incentives to come to the US. Not just the megacorps, also the smaller and mid-sized companies, because that's where the heart of American commerce is at. It's at the middle size. Because once you put everything into the same pot, it just falls over. There's no actual diversity, even though that's a word that's been molested, to the nth degree. So if you do that, then you start the cultural shift. You start cutting all tax breaks and benefits and credits, etc., to any company that does business with China. Then you start making it actually illegal to do any cultural dealings with China, i.e., make or publish, I don't know, Genshin, for instance. And you encourage actual nationality in your own citizenry. You stop this beating over the head of you're bad because you're American. You're evil country. No, fuck off. We're the best that ever was, and that's it. Go pound sand. I don't care.
And the thing goes for
That's how I would start
Europeans,
doing it.
Polish, Germans.
Yes, the same thing for them. The
Doesn't
only
matter
reason
who.
I say it for America is because I'm American.
Yep, I know. I'm merely just adding. Because the reality is that when it comes to all these nations, we all make games, right? The Polish make games, and their games are fun and cool. They're weird and quirky. The Ukrainians make games, and they're weird and quirky too. The Russians make games, and they're weird and quirky. All those Slav jank games are weird and quirky, but I like them. They're a little bit quirky, though. A little bit. The Germans make autism games, and everybody brings something to the table. Japanese bring weeb games. The Chinese bring their silly little gotcha games. They all bring something to the table. But the only issue that occurs is when one of these players on this board starts to muddle in everyone else's pie to sabotage what they're doing so that what they do can pass up easier, right? That's where the issue lies. It's not with Genshin Impact. It's not with, trying to think of a Western game company. It's not with Factorio or whatever. Like the reality is it's policy is what's the issue. And the reality is the unfortunate reality is that you can't deal with it. You can't boycott it. You will effectively not be enough. That's the reality. Like, we aren't enough anymore. The big problem is that the games industry has become so popular and so big and makes so much money that our voice carries no weight like it used to. And because of this, that means that the only way in order for things to go for a positive change is they need to fail, and they need to fail so in a colossal way, and it needs to be specifically for those reasons. If they're able to limp by with a mediocre success, then the crap will continue, right? Great example, probably going to be Bungie's Marathon. You guys all know about it, right? It's up and coming.
No.
Marathon's going to come out, and if Marathon flops, it's a good thing for it to flop because it might incentivize positive change. And I'm saying might, by the way. I'm not saying that it will. It's just a possibility. Far-fetched. Take care, buddy. Have a good sleepy. But yeah, the reality is that when it comes down to it, it's all about things going in a certain direction. And in the case of Bungie, if they flop, if they fail, there's a potential for a recovery point, but to be brutally honest, I don't think that they can recover. But it's always something worth pointing out, right? If Marathon succeeds and does well, then it means that the mediocrity era will continue and nothing will improve. It will just get more mediocre slop. Just like they limped along with Destiny 1, just like they limped along with Destiny 2. Mediocre, soulless garbage, slopped out, one bit after the other. And it will continue. The only thing we can kind of hope is that there'll be some sort of radical change that will force a internal basically shift of power to basically produce better games, which would be something disastrous, like instead of Marathon being mediocre, it's a disaster and it's really bad, which forces them to address the fact that leadership has led them to this point, and so leadership must change.
So,
ideally,
in the case of Marathon, I don't know that it will necessarily be a flop. I could be wrong.
I think
because
probably mid.
games, it might be a flop here in the West, but keep in mind, games like that do very well over in Asia.
True, potentially.
So I don't know.
It's super censored, right? Because there's no like blood and gore. Everything's a robot.
Right. Like, take something like Apex Legends, kind of was mediocre in the West, but it blew the fuck up over in Asia.
Yep. It's also why the industry, like so many of the industry, keeps betraying a lot of the Western user base, is because the money is in it for the Chinese stuff. We knew it back in 2012. It was happening back then with a lot of industry and stuff moving to, I believe, was it Hong Kong or Shanghai or something? Can't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
But a lot of the industry moved over there, and it was been happening there. And again, a lot of the reasons why, a great example, don't know why I have to point this out, but I feel like sometimes I have to. But Command & Conquer was doing really well in the West. Western gamers enjoyed and loved it. Then come enter the Chinese market or the Asian market and enter Command & Conquer 4. It's entirely premised and built not for you, but for them. And again, that's because the upper management people look at numbers, right? They don't care about the game. They don't care about you. They don't care about the fans. They only care about the numbers. And the Western market pool is like 10 billion, or like, I'll just throw a number, 10 million, right? Or whatever, just flat number. And the Chinese market pool is 100 million. From a mathematical standpoint, which one are you going to go for? The 100 million.
Never mind
one.
the fact that the potential pull over on, let's just call it the left or right or whatever for the sake of numbers. Never mind the fact that you won't even get 10% of the actual money you would get on the right versus the left in terms of actual spending. But Aerith body pillow? No.
Already exists. You can go and download it. Remember, we made it free for you guys. You guys funded it, and we had it made.
But, yeah, I don't... Like I said, I don't know that Marathon will necessarily flop one way or the other. We'll see.
I'm not entirely sure. I just don't think it's going to be the big success they're aiming for. But that's my theory. But then again, I might be out of touch because that genre does not appeal to me in the slightest. So
no, the PvE, VP or whatever.
Yeah. I've tried, like, for example, I tried that Ark game. Arc Raiders.
Arc Raiders.
And like it's all right, but it's just like super. For me, it's like
Again,
I play it, I'm like, like I'm bored. So
that's
it's not
again
for me.
another. There's another game that like blew up over in Asia
Yeah,
considerably compared to the West. Like
Arc
its sales
Raiders
were
did?
okay. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's fucking huge over there.
Okay, I
It's
guess they really
colossal.
like them their battle royales Chatfish. Just a
Kinda, yeah.
I mean, Chatfish. I know this is gonna sound revolutionary, chat, but what if? Hear me out. What if we're sometimes wrong? Just you telling me the guy
the
behind the
Picard,
microphone
no.
is just a human being? Yeah, I'm just like you, chat. I'm also retarded.
Catfish
A
are
little bit
for
out
the
of
catfish
context.
by the catfish,
We're
but
all
the
retarded
catfish are
together.
No, flipping part of Gives and Mini is retarded.
Damn it.
Damn.
Space Monkey $22 says, what happened to CNC Tiberian Sun remaster? I think whatever happened to it, I think it's dead. I don't know. We haven't heard a sliver of news.
Or it's on ice.
I've kept my ear to the ground when it comes to anything from them, EA, about like that stuff, because I was so certain. Here's a great example of where I was definitely wrong. Command and Conquer. I was hoping real bad for that. Everything, like it seemed like the stars were aligning. Like the Command and Conquer remaster sold well, right? But then again, so did the Dead Space 1 remaster. It sold well. It did well. It succeeded. But it wasn't billions of dollars, so it goes back onto the ice shelf. It's like, for fuck's sake. So I think that's what happened to Tiberian Sun.
The estimates I remember of the Dead Space remaster, the return on investment wasn't as good as you think it is. It may not have even beat inflation.
Damn. But also the original. At least I thought it did. What was the metrics? Get the
I'd
metrics.
have to look it up if I remember right.
Fetch him, Fuzzy. You're the numbers
Let me go
guy. You're the numbers guy.
Make.
He is.
I know ironically I am. Make.
Because I thought Dead Space 1 sold about as... I don't think it sold as well as 2.
Might be able to get the remake. That probably usually, if the game's released later, older games, disclaimer chat, it's a bit hard to get the numbers. If it's these days, it's a bit easier to get estimates.
Yep, because the old game is a bit more in the air. There's theories.
And just to be, because I'm picking a terminology, these are estimates because they don't always give us the numbers, but there are ways to to be able to get an educated guess, which is what an estimate is. Development budget was around 60 million as the estimates, lower than comparable titles like Callisto Protocol, but it's a remake, therefore you're not reinventing the reel. Lifetime sales estimates 1 to 2 million copies, with early estimates of 2 million, which, when you factor in marketing, that's probably 120 million, possibly a bit more, but that doesn't even factor in marketing. Water revenue gets us hit 74 million gross, up to 200 million, including consoles, though unverified. EA targeted 5 million copies. Viewing underperformance, though.
Wait, Remade sold 5 million?
The remake 1 to 2 million max is the estimates.
Okay, 1 to 2 million. So we'll just say like 1.5 million. About.
Now, keep in mind, usually marketing budget most of the time is around the same amount or half. So half
of
to
development
the same
budget.
amount.
Yes, because
keep in mind.
Now that wasn't the same as the cube strategy though, because they didn't follow the cube strategy. They've abandoned that doctrine ages ago. So it can't be the full cost of the game. So yeah, half is probably about right. If I had to wager a guess.
Yeah. Creator Glenn Schofield, keep in mind I butchered names, noted in 2025 that EA didn't think they made money, which either means of you need a certain return on investment in order to beat inflation on top of get a certain profit margin. Because say if inflation is, say, most countries like around 2%, and I'm just throwing that number out there, obviously it's not it right now, you want another 4% on top of that to get a decent return on investment of 6%, which is where you're getting good numbers, which means sales need to hit us. Yeah.
So that means, unfortunately, we were all right, chat, when we talked about Dead Space last time. which
Yeah,
is not good. Which means that the reality is Dead Space is actually the game that's too offensive to sell.
Yeah, which means if, say, you spent 60 million and you spent another 30 to 60 million, which is 120 million of total costs, because the budget is just to make the game, not total costs around the game, you need at least 2 million copies to break even, but break even means you lost money.
Yep. So the one thing is, a while back when we did stream Dead Space 1 remake, we talked about this because what's been a reoccurring thing is that Dead Space 1, and this is curious, right? This is, remember, the Fireside Chat's a bit more relaxed. We can talk about random subject podcast. But yeah, so what's interesting here, chat, is that there are games that reach their threshold of how many people are interested in the game. And I've polled many times my audience, and the results are always almost unanimously the same, and not unanimously, that's wrong verbiage, almost like always leaning heavily in the same direction. It's basically every time I poll you guys, like, what do you think of Dead Space? Like, the vast majority are like, it's interesting, and it's like, okay, would you buy it? And the majority are like, hell no. And I'm like, but why? Yeah, it's too intense.
Yep, that's what I always see. People say it's too intense. I'm like, what?
And I've read that in multiple forums and other places, and other people have conducted similar surveys. And my theory is that Dead Space just it's reached just what we call its capacity. It's reached about as many people that will ever buy the game, which is about 1.5 million to 2 million, maybe 3 tops, and that's it. No one else is going to buy it because it's too much. It's just too intense. And because it's too intense and too stressful, people won't buy it. And that just makes me say,
Because I got like half of Dead Space 1. Yeah.
Did you just quit? Wait, let me ask you. Was it because you were bored? Or was it that you just lost interest? Or was it just too stressful? Like, what if you played Dead Space and you quit, why did you quit? Like, what made you stop? Were you too stressed out? Was it too much? Or was it boring? Like, the reasons do matter, because there's this thing we call player fall off in a game development world, and what that means is that from the moment somebody looks at your store page, you're technically losing players, right? It's like, oh, and I looked at it, not interested. I bought it. Am I even going to boot it up? I bought it and I booted it up. Am I going to get past the main menu? Am I going to get past the first like prologue? Did I lose interest? Did I refund it? Am I still going? Did I get past chapter 1? Did I get past chapter 2? Did I get halfway? Did I stop playing there, or did I get sick of the gameplay loop? Things like that.
Because it got somewhat samey.
So sick of the gameplay loop. The gameplay loop got repetitive, and so player fall off kicked in for you because the nature of the game wasn't refreshing enough to keep you engaged. The mechanics weren't as interesting. That's fair.
Which is a fair argument.
Because Dead Space mechanics, more or less, it shows you all the mechanics you're going to ever see, pretty much from the get-go.
Yeah, like once you get the slowdown and the kinesis, yep.
Yep, and then after that, if you don't like that loop of gameplay, it's just going to flatline. And so Dead Space for me is entirely carried not by its gameplay mechanical loop, it's carried by its atmosphere and its
atmosphere
mood.
And world building.
Story.
Yep, the story carries me through it. Because the core gameplay loop is remarkably simple. In fact, Dead Space, if you actually analyze it from a mechanical standpoint, is not a horror game. It's just an action game. But it just has horror themes. It's an action game smothered with horror themes, which makes it into a horror game. Yeah, my back itches. But yeah, because this is what's interesting. Because Dead Space, when they originally propped up Dead Space, and I've covered and done serious deep digging into this. But basically, the interesting thing is when they saw Dead Space first pitch them in like 2004, 2005 with like the Xbox original, and the prototypes for Dead Space 1 were supposed to be the original Xbox. They're like, oh my god, EA was so excited because they're like, this is our Resident Evil. We're going to really show Capcom with this one. And then they did this thing we call the cube marketing strategy, where they released all this media and all this stuff and comics and all this movie and stuff, and they pumped it out to build it into a franchise. And it released, and it fucking bombed. Because Dead Space 1 did not sell well. Like, not by any metric. Like, not in the sense of, like, it sold well, like, commercially. It was like, Yeah, that's okay. I mean, it paid for itself.
It didn't reach what they estimated it to be,
It's not
was the
particularly
problem.
amazing. And so, but it got such great scathing, or not scathing, that's the wrong word, verbiage. It got like absolutely glowing reviews, and critics praised it, and gamers praised it. So, and that, bear in mind, the critics played a big role, especially in this era of the games market, because people took a lot more stock into what they said back then versus now, right? But they were like, okay, maybe it's just because they're thinking about it themselves, like maybe it's just because it's a new franchise, it's got to get developed and get set up, we just need to invest a bit more into it. So they did it again. They increased the budget, basically doubling the budget, if I remember right, or about doubling it, for Dead Space 2. And Dead Space 2, fucking phenomenal in terms of improvements, and it did
Yep.
about the same. It did about the same. And so he is like, oh my god, how do we get this thing to sell? They looked at Resident
Talk to you
Evil
about
and saw
Lord.
co-op play, and so they did Dead Space 3 to try to make it work. Good?
Asks, why does RE still sell well? Same with Silent Hill. They also have their own version of horror. So
Yes.
Resident Evil is a bad thing to compare to because it's lost its entire soul and has just become put product out.
So the reality is why does Capcom's Resident Evil sell and Silent Hill sell, and why doesn't Dead Space sell? Dead Space is, and this is going to hurt to say because it hurts me every time I say it. I physically recoil inside. It's too offensive. Most of the time. Most of the people I've talked to, the reason why they don't want to play it is it's too gory. What, you like Resident Evil? Why won't you give Dead Space a chance? Resident Evil isn't as scary or isn't too intense. And it's true. I've played some Resident Evil games now, so I have a better understanding of them versus when I originally did those surveys way back when, right? Resident Evil has a lot of what we call low time. Low time in a scary game is basically where like nothing particularly bad's happening. It's a little tense, but it's not too bad. Dead Space doesn't really have low time moments except when you're like in a train, but the game is actively trying to get you to think that trains and elevators aren't safe either. Now, you'll be like, but Kibbs, Resident Evil also did that with the save room. Yes, you're right. But the difference is musical tones. This is where a man by the name of Jason Graves comes in and slaps you across the little chatfish face with his fucking ambience. The ambience of Dead Space leaves no room for breathers. There is no calm, soothing music in Dead Space. It is just nightmarish hell from beginning to end. And the entire, like, themes are eerie and undertones are sad and tragic and horror and, like, dread-filled. It is entirely down to the sound engineer team that I credit most of the horror vibes for Dead Space. And the lighting team. Great job. Great job. But yeah, the sound team, holy fuck. Every room and every section of the ship has different sounds that play. And all the sounds and all the music are fucking horrific. It is nightmare fuel. I own the Dead Space OST and I've listened to it many times. And it's basically a cacophony of nightmarish sounds, is all it is. And I actually brought it to my composer, Robert, because I was curious and I was talking about music for our own setting. And I wanted to ask him his opinion because I respect him quite a bit and I like his insights. And he actually broke it down to me very interestingly. The music for Dead Space is surprisingly juvenile in the sense that if you actually look at its melodies and you extrapolate the melodies, it's actually the equivalent of Looney Tunes. Like a lot of the melodies are very simple, but the reality is that it's played in such a way that it's meant to be a cacophony. And what is a cacophony? It's like a jumbled mess of noises, with noises and instruments being played in such a way that they're being played poorly, but intentionally so, because it's unsettling. It psychologically induces a aura of you're not supposed to feel comfortable. You're supposed to feel out of place. You're supposed to feel wrong. And the game does this the entire time. Resident Evil does this to a degree too, but not nearly the same amount. In fact, it does this very little. Both games like Dino Crisis, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, which I played now, they're not scary by comparison. They're tense, but they're not really scary games in the same vein. they're very different games altogether. They're more like puzzle games. In fact, after playing Resident Evil, Dino Crisis, and Silent Hill, like I find Silent Hill to be the more creepier of all of them, but that's personal preference. But I think that they don't hold a candle to Dead Space in terms of atmosphere.
I find Dead Space gets the like existential horror just right of like we've hit the essentially what you would consider the zenith of humanity's technology. We can travel the stars, we can crack entire planets apart for resources, but where the fuck is everyone? And then it's like, oh.
Cosmic
So
horror.
it's just pure existential dread of the answer to the Fermi paradox.
Yep. And so if you look at Resident Evil's horror, Silent Hill is more like spiritual in nature, and Resident Evil is a bit more like biological, but not in the same way of Dead Space. It's a bit more maintained. The things made in Resident Evil are man-made. And so they're kind of what we call known quantities. A known quantity cannot be as scary as an unknown quantity. Just like the alien and Aliens, right? Or Alien, you know? It was an unknown quantity. By making more movies about it and explaining its origins, you're losing the point, Ridley Scott. It's not scary anymore. You know, it's becoming a known thing. The more we learn about the necromorph and the markers, it's still creepy and scary, but it's not as scary as the first time playthrough. First time playthrough is always going to be the scariest because it's the unknown factor. I know a lot of the lore, and I own a lot of the media. I own all of it, but I'm a bit of a big fan. But the big thing is that when it comes down to it, necromorphs, markers, and the whole like stuff around all of their lore is creepy and unsettling. But they do have a purpose. There is a system of rules that they adhere to, and so
which makes it more insidious.
Yep, which makes it insidious, but also makes it a little less scary. Just like when you know the xenomorph stuff too. Like they have a system too that they function by. And so do the things like the Lost Plagas from Resident Evil 4. Like they also adhere to a rule set, just like the T virus adheres to a rule set. They're all bound by rules. It's like, whoa.
Hand Chatfish a rule book, they just eat it. It's like, fuck.
Dead Space isn't really scary either. Yeah, no, it's more a matter of subjectivity. Some people aren't scared by it, right? Some people swear up and down that Resident Evil and Silent Hill is scary, and I think it's creepy, but it's not that scary. Like I get scared when things jump out and get me, yeah.
So most horror games aren't actually scary. It's the world building they provide that is truly a measure of whether or not the writer's actually good at what they do. Resident Evil is more, I think Chatfish pointed out, it's more campy fun.
Campy, yeah.
More campy, scary. Silent Hill attempts to do like the scary, like paranormal type stuff. Some of the games do well, some don't. With that, the reason Dead Space speaks to me is because of, like I said, the existential dread of what if we do live in a Dead Space-esque universe? What if there is some big bad that's going around gobbling everyone up?
Yep. The big thing that makes Dead Space creepy for me is the fact that because there's different, like what we'll call, oh my god, talk about a word that was abused by a certain group of people, triggers, right? There's certain things that trigger Kib's scaredar, you know? It's like, the fact that the marker is killing you the minute you make contact with it. Like you're already on a timeline before you kill yourself.
Kind of like radiation, essentially.
Yes.
Any large amount of it is going to cause issues. It's just a question of exposure.
The minute you make contact with it, you're already in deep shit. Like in its aura. The second thing is that it's the fact that you know what that there's no mercy, no remorse, no nothing. It's a methodical need to acquire biomass, your biomass. And so it's like, okay, that's pretty terrifying. 3, the fact that there are ways to defeat them, but like, oh my god, is it the most nightmarish method to defeat something? So you can defeat a marker if you built a marker in your mind, if you don't kill yourself first. It's like, that's kind of creepy. It's also creepy with the fact that if enough markers are made or things like that, it affects everybody around you. So everybody else is affected. Your best friend becomes your enemy. You know, doesn't matter who they were. Anybody in contact is now an unknown quantity. So the more it's just, there's so much there's so many layers to it. And that's what I find so fascinating about it versus a zombie. which is like, okay, there's a layer to it, but that's about it. Versus the marker has a psychological layer, there is a physical threat layer, then there is the basically cosmic layer. And the cosmic layer is that you're all going to die. And it doesn't really matter if you stop this marker or not. It's just merely prolonging the inevitable. And that's where I finally understand cosmic horror, I think. Because before that, Call of Cthulhu I never got it. But Dead Space made me finally understand what was cool about cosmic horror. Because before then I was like, but they're just fucking squid people. They're just fucking squid. And that didn't really like set off the like, oh, that's creepy. Because for me, I'm like, that's silly. They're fish people. Now it's like, oh my god, it's like horrific flesh horrors inspired by The Thing. And I love The Thing. And so it's just like, it really jives well. The body horror. And so it's all a matter of taste, right? Everybody likes different things. And there's nothing wrong with liking any different thing more than the other. But yeah, that's why I love Dead Space so much. And that's also why I was so sad to find out that Dead Space has reached its market cap, meaning that it will not be able to sell more than a couple million. It doesn't matter if Capcom makes it. It doesn't matter if EA makes it. It doesn't matter who makes it. The reality is that it's physically capacity. It's at capacity. There isn't that many people interested in this particular thing. And I'm one of a minority.
You imagine the weird shit show it would be if Capcom owned it? Oh my god.
It would be very weird with like, talk about like off-tone thing. Like, you're like, oh my god, that's so scary. And then like, big titty woman shows up and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like the tonal mixture would be kind of wacky.
The whiplash you would get, yeah.
And then like you have Leon Kennedy doing like some fucking one-liner shit and you're like, oh my god, the tonal whiplash.
Chris punching a boulder, like what?
Like you'd have to file a lawsuit with Capcom because they broke your neck. You're like, because Capcom is they really get that campy vibe going pretty well for the Resident Evils. I will say though, I'm not a fan of Resident Evil 7 or 8 or any of the first person ones. I think I hate them. And it's weird because I'm new to the franchise, but I don't like them.
I liked 7. 7 was an interesting like shift. 8, I don't know what 8 was supposed to be, honestly.
I didn't like 8. I think the only part I liked 8 was the creepy castle with the big titty girl. And it wasn't because she had big titties. I just thought the castle gimmick was cool, and I thought that the game should be more about that than random stuff. Which is a bit of a shame. Oh well. Nitpicking Capcom products aside.
Yeah.
Check come.
Fuzzy's just gone glazy-eyed over, like, whoa.
Fuzzy, you know about these things, don't you?
Which one again? Sorry.
Oh God, help me!
Sorry, I'm bugged by something. I had to mute my mic because I was getting bothered about something. I didn't want to interrupt or.
Do you know anything about Capcom, Fuzzy?
I know that they're.
I was imagining a big Capcom guy for some reason. I know barely anything about Capcom.
I know that their family has dominated the stock voting power for ages, as far as I know. So by and large, still within the family, which is a trick the guild mods like to try, but they are more effective at it. But they've been in a bit of a rough spot right now because Monster Hunter Wilds, they rushed that game out, and since most of their sales are on PC, and they pissed off their PC audience for a long time.
Yeah, they created a schism.
In book sector. They now have to salvage Monster Hunter Wilds so that their stock price doesn't go down, which, to their credit, they have been doing a good job over the past 6 years, where they've actually been building up their core franchises ever since Miyamoto left and nearly wrecked the company. But right now, they're just, they're not unsalvageable. They do have still some games that look like they'll sell well. What was that one with the android girl on your back? I can't remember the
Android girl on your back.
Are you talking about Pragmata?
Thank you, Pragmata.
That's
a new one coming out.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, it's the one with like the little blonde girl.
The little blonde girl. People said it was like Dead Space. I was like, what?
No, I don't know where they're getting that from.
Looks like it's a weird fusion of like.
Yeah, that's what I thought because I watched the trailer. Because as soon as somebody said Dead Space, I was like,
I played the demo. I played the demo, and it's not walking simulator. I don't know where people get that from. You're not carrying packages.
No, I was talking about
Is
in
it
terms
weird?
of like the
Oh,
story
aesthetics?
beats. Yeah, story beats and aesthetics.
Aesthetics I can see initially, but in terms of story, I still don't get story-wise. I don't get it because there's a demo for
Here I
everybody
thought it
to
was like a
play. You
little
can
girl
see
you were protecting or something. Now it's
She's
a
like an
robot.
android or a robot or something.
she's an android that hacks enemies for you. It's a weird mix of combat with puzzle mechanics where in order to actually deal meaningful damage and actually kill the enemies, the robots that are constantly popping up around you, you have to hack them, do this puzzle at the same time of you trying to dodge them and hit their weak spot. And it goes the same thing with the bosses also. I am not entirely sold on it, but I can see an audience liking it. It certainly has more promise than that Dino game that flopped.
I can see an
Oh
audience
god, the
liking
Dino
it. Looks at
Crisis game
Blake.
thing.
Oh no.
Blake, no. He's like,
Yes, guys, and believe it or not, I can recognize that I am not the entire gaming audience.
Wow, you don't like every game that came out, or are you a real gamer?
my god, are you telling me that there's some genres you're not interested in? Kill him.
Kill him
Yeah,
now.
because Street Fighter's doing well. Monster Hunter Wilds obviously have a safe spot.
I hear that
Requiem, we'll see.
Requiem. I hear a lot of
It comes out
positive
today.
buzz about what? Well, we'll try
Yeah,
it tomorrow.
February 26th.
Yep, it comes out
Hmm.
today or tomorrow or something.
8 hours,
Yeah.
according to
Yeah,
Steam.
that's tomorrow, not today.
Yep.
We'll play that tomorrow, chat. We'll try it. We'll try it. I kind of want to try it because, man, I really like Resident Evil now after playing.
He
like,
really
2
likes
games.
Resident Evil now after he hated 7 and 8.
Okay, my first time I saw 7, I was like, this is dumb. It's like first person, the guy chases you, like dumb. And then I saw I played 8 and I'm like, this is dumb. Then I played 4 and I'm like, what the fuck? This is retarded. Then I played 5
Don't
and
you
I'm
like
like,
being
I was like, holy shit, this
mode
is even more retarded. I love this.
Yeah,
5's hilarious.
Why can't 4 and 5 be like every game from forever?
4 and 5 is when like Resident Evil really exploded. Like
Those games are
At least a bit.
amazing. Then I played Resident
Good
Evil
night,
1,
Moogie.
and I think I wanted to blow my brains out because the puzzles are so fucking obtuse.
Yeah, because believe it or not, Capcom, for all their problems, is capable of readjusting and re-strategizing. They've had to learn that hard lesson before, which makes them one of the more semi-reliable publishers out there.
Well, Heretical
Like a
Nerd,
nerd.
I'm not sure if I want to play the marathon thing. As a streamer, I probably should, but here's the reality, chat. You guys know that I'm always honest. And you know that I don't really like those style of games. So if I do stream it, I'll be streaming it for clickies. And that's probably the only reason why I'll be streaming it. Unless the game somehow mystifistically brainwashes me into liking that genre that I historically have a history of it never liking.
is
Never.
Hypno?
Like, I tried Arc Raiders. I genuinely did, and I hated it. I just couldn't get into. I tried being fair. I tried to be like, okay, like, don't think about any pre-established notions about the genre. Just give it a fair shake. And then I played it. I'm like, I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. Yeah, so I absolutely find it great. I hope that the new Resident Evil is good. If it's not, then I'll probably be sad.
Capcom can't afford it right now, so
Yeah.
I'm not very interested
They've had a
in
lot
the
too many
blonde
losses that
girl.
were
She's kind of
substantial.
boring. She's like, oh, it's a horror section, but like, yeah, but Resident Evil isn't really about that. It's about funny dude saying action one-liners.
It's about Leon
Right.
being best boy.
Like, can you
yeah,
just play as
killing
Leon in the game?
biohorrors.
No, I think you have to
Damn
play
it.
as both.
Fuck, I don't want to play as her. She's so uninteresting. She's like, I'm scared and I'm a blonde lady. I'm like, yeah, but that's
Sure,
Your
boring.
fun will be
Also-
trash. That's what we're assuming, Space Monkey, but as with anything in life, you don't know till it happens, right?
True.
Yeah.
Matt, hey, there have been what the fuck successes before. Nothing's
Mhm.
impossible, but I would not bet on Marathon being successful. I would wager
No.
that it's going to be bad. Mostly
And
because
yes, it
it's
is just a skinwalker wearing the name. That's all
Yes.
it is.
I'm talking about financially. It has
I
nothing
was
to
just
do with
responding to Space
Marathon.
Monkey.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree with what he said. It has nothing to do with Marathon at all. It's like based in the setting. It's like making Myth into a battle royale. Like if they brought
Don't
back
give
Myth.
them idea.
Sorry about that.
Just
Raffle,
kidding.
thought of
It'll be
that.
like, yes, the Lords of the Fallen, or the Fallen Lords have decided to create a battle royale to challenge the heroes of the Alliance. And it's like, what?
And now it's a
Why did they do
Souls-like
that?
gacha also. Oh my god.
And yes, you must extract to appease the fallen. Why would I appease the guys who want to end the world? It's like, you want to just fucking play the Macridians. It's like, the what? The guys that made the skull statues? The guys, yeah, the Macridians are guns now. It's like, what?
Your midi-chlorian count needs to go higher for you to defeat the fallen lords.
The Macridians aren't metachlorians. They're people of monsters.
They're bad people.
It's okay. They can. It's all right for them. Space Monkey, look at me. Okay, I'm gonna set your little chatfish on my lap. It's perfectly fine for them to desecrate Marathon's corpse. You know why? Because at least they're not hurting Myth. All right, and Myth is more important than Marathon. He's like, you son of a bitch. He's like, yep. And my personal biases are all that matter. And my personal.
He just looks at Space Monkey. I'm biased and I don't care.
Like, I'll be real. Myth is cute. I like the idea of Myth. I played it, but I was never super big on it.
You mean Marathon?
Fuck! I'm blowing my brains out. But yeah, Marathon. I meant to say no, fuck! I meant to say Marathon. But yeah, Myth is my favorite. Myth is, as long as they don't hurt Myth's corpse, you know, they can't. They can do no evil. Bungie can do no wrong. I'm joking.
Excuse me while I give an excruciatingly long presentation on Bungie's faults.
Okay, so moving on to the next subject. So we've got something here. This is kind of cool. This is an indie project. It's a fan project called Renegade X, the Totem Arts team, which is working on a Firestorm shooter that looks really cool. But this is them releasing their 1.0 trailer for Renegade X, which was their first shooter that they made, which, by the way, is a remake of Renegade. It's pretty cool, but it's got the same problems with the old Renegade. Is the issue that it kind of runs into, but it's not bad. I'm more so looking to Firestorm, but like, oh my god, take a look at this. It is free, so you can go and try it if you want. It has that goofy yoink thing.
Yeah.
Good trailer music.
So yeah, they finally released Renegade X 1.0. Renegade X is basically just Renegade, but, you know, remade on the Unreal Engine, which has its problems because it's Unreal. But it's an early version, if I remember right, so it's not so bad. And it runs relatively well. Yeah, it's all right. It's nothing to really write home about. It's just more Renegade, which I kind of prefer the open source Renegade. But the big thing that Totem Arts is working on, and I don't know if they have any new videos about it. They don't. But they're working on they're working on basically another game. It's called Firestorm, and it's set in the Tiberian Sun universe, and it looks really cool. And that's what they've been working on, and it'll probably be a long time before they're actually done with it.
So you can actually go to their website and see.
Here's some new gameplay they put for Firestorm. This is the one I'm super interested in. It's sort of
Firestorm's what I really want. I'm gonna download.
Oh the god, the
Renegade X,
yoink
though.
sound.
Looks good, but I despise PvP. That's why you don't play it with like sweaty tryhard Space Monkey. You do it with like friends where you're just goofing around.
Yeah, no. If you play with friends and you just have like a fun time where you're just like laughing and blowing each other up, yeah.
Or you guys like play just against bots. And you just crank the bots up to ungodly powerful as well.
The vehicle gameplay looks pretty good in this.
It's actually, this really does look good.
Yeah, that's Firestorm.
Firestorm is more to be modeled after Battlefield Bad Company, and that's what really caught my interest, because they wanted to go, because the original Renegade X is kind of just more modeled after Renegade. Firestorm is like it's like Renegade but more Battlefield Bad Company inspired, and I think that's a better direction to push the game, because Bad Company had some really good gunplay and overall feelings as a game. But yeah, I figured I'd highlight them because, you know, anytime there's a little group of guys putting together something kind of cute, they deserve to be talked about.
Reminds me of Battlefront 2 vehicle combat. Well, funny you should say that. They have people that worked on Battlefront 2 mods doing it, so.
Yeah. There's a lot of those sort of like mod circles are kind of like circular. They sort of like go around and do stuff. My God. All right, let's go to the next thing. So, our next subject, chat bitches, move that there, is we're going to talk about Steam Fest. It took us a little longer to get here because we went on a rant about communism.
I see.
Listen, much like my American ancestors, I too must fight communists.
Looks behind Gibbs, sees Bucky. I see.
Oh, there's like puppet strings. Talk about the Red Menace, Kib. Talk about the Red Menace.
My God, the Chinese have make sense now.
All right, so moving on. All right, so one thing I want to highlight about the Steam Fest is this woman here, like,
terrible.
She scares me. Mostly because she's got those psycho murder eyes. It has nothing to do with what she says, by the way. She doesn't say anything like controversial. She just looks like she's going to kill me.
You know the most alarming thing in this?
What?
Windows 11.
Oh, in the background? Yeah.
Yeah. They're not even using their own OS.
It's just Valve. Valve doing Valve stuff. But yeah. So that's just them talking there, going like, blah, 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 blah. We do Steam Fest. But the Steam Fest initiative has been a beautiful thing. And we're going to highlight some of the games that I found on the Steam Fest. Well, not I. We found as a collective. That way I can have your credit for the things you've done.
Wow.
Now, this game is cute as fuck. It might not be for everybody, but it's called Wanderberg. You basically drive a castle around. It's kind of like what do you call them? It's a roguelite with meta progression where you like level up your things and what you can generate and spawn in, but it's actually pretty chill. And I'll show you the trailer.
Hey, it's a tower game.
You played this yesterday. It was really good.
Yeah, I thought I was playing it. It's a tower survivors thing.
Yep, that's a walker.
The mech
Looks adorable.
We need to have the Chatfish mech.
So yeah, basically you drive around in a giant castle. And you upgrade it and you fight other castles. And it's kind of like Howl's Moving Castle. Or that other movie that bombed, I can't remember. Some Mortal Engines.
Mortal Engines.
Yeah, that's the one. And so it's like a cool concept and it's actually really fun. It's a roguelite and it kind of like, you know, sort of loops. And if you enjoy the game loop for those kinds of things, it's quite good. It's very much carried by its theme. Excuse me, and the overall atmosphere. And I think it's really fun. And if you want to give it a shot, it's got a demo, it's available. I'm going to probably be thinking about picking this up because it was actually a lot of fun to play. The next game we have to talk about is one we streamed yesterday. Goodbye, ad revenue.
This one was actually a ton of fun when we got to the boat section.
Yes. It's got some issues. They are talking about they're going to take as much time as the game needs, and that we're not going to rush. They're not going to. Not we. They're not going to rush it out, which is very good because the melee combat is not very good, but the ships and stuff is really cool, and the exploration is really interesting.
The building's also pretty good too. But yeah, the combat needs some work.
You know, it was just competitive survival crafty always, or have a
You know,
tendency
they
to
could-
not have the best combat systems.
Unironically, you know what people like this could do? If they are going to make a third-person thing, they should take a look at Helldivers, because I really like how Helldivers controls the third-person.
How
mechanics
the
there.
feeling of the movement.
Yeah, like how it handles. It's kind of like when you enter a car that you like, and like, oh my god, you like driving the car. You know what I mean?
Yes, I mean, what's it called? It's called logic something, movement logic or something, or movement.
I'm not sure.
I forget what it's called. Basically, the movement logic of the game. Yes, it would be nice if games actually took inspiration from Helldivers' movement logic, because it feels like controlling a car in a nice way. Good movement mechanics.
It handles very well the handling of the.
But yeah, this game's going to be a game to probably keep an eye on. And the fact that they're going to be taking the time with it is a good sign. It means they have a chance to polish up the melee combat. Because I will point out, chat, that the same problem that Dune Awakening had with its melee combat system was the exact same problem that this game suffers from. Which means that it's very likely that they will address and fix that from critical feedback. And so it's important to be vocal about that and let them know that the melee is a bit stiff, so they have time to work on it, improve it, polish it, tweak it, so that it feels more responsive. Because that's the only real negative thing I have to say about the game, is that the melee kind of feels floaty. And there's no real weight behind your melee. That's once they fix that, then that'll probably make the rest of the game come together quite nicely. But yeah, Windrose is pretty good. That's definitely a game worth checking out. The next one is another game called Ashes of Singularity 2. It's pretty interesting, developed by Oxide Games, but it's also, I think, of the ones I recommend to try the demo of, I would say I would cautiously be with this one, which is weird because you think I'd be like super optimistic about it, right? Well, I really love the big vehicle play and vehicle feel. My worry is about how the mechanics and systems kind of work. Specifically, it pertains to how do you build buildings, and it kind of feels like about how the game's military and armies feel balanced. I'm worried about the replayability and the viability long term with a game like this. And that's my real big concern with Ashes of Singularity 2, is how much like viability does it have in the long term sense. But we'll
How
have to see. Go ahead.
do they have like how much they want for the game? Because what I do is just like if a game is 60 or 70 or even $40, it needs to I need to be able to play that for a long time. If a game is like $10, $5, like I don't mind it being like 5 to 10 hours. You know what I mean? Because like they're not asking for a kidney over over the game.
Yeah. All right. Let me play the trailer so Chatfish can see the game for those that missed the Steam Fest stream of it. We played a lot of this. It was a lot of fun. And the big battles are really cool. Like, the armies are huge.
I really like the factions. And yes, the scales actually do get this big.
Yeah, they even get bigger than this. Like, you'll have battles like that, like this size, everywhere over, like, a huge map.
Okay. And they have this fascinating system that makes macro play much easier. The army system, I really like it. Oh, those tanks look so derpy. I love it.
The super units also really cool, how big and derpy they look.
Like, I hope they tweak the game enough based on the feedback they got. I really want this game to succeed. And my other main worry is that if you look at the Steam reviews, some of the Steam reviews aren't good feedback of the demo.
Okay, so one thing I've noticed, and this is across the board, not just with Ashes of Singularity, but with games in general, because of the demos, and I'm worried that developers might be afraid. So a lot of demos. Where's the demo for it? That's weird.
For 2.
Ashes of Singularity.
Go back to the main page.
Demo. Yeah, but how do you see the demo page? Oops, defemo.
Go back to the main page.
Eh?
Go to the green bar. Learn more.
Ah, okay, that takes us to the demo thing. So yeah, what you'll notice is a lot of the games we played are very mixed, but the reasons are interesting, right? So some of the negative reviews are pretty good. They're like pointing out critiques and criticism because there are problems, but there are some like reviews. I don't know if this game has the one I'm thinking of, but where there's like people like playing the game like, oh, I don't like the fact that it has destruction in the environment, and it's like it's a core mechanic though. It's like, the one downside of having demos is that anybody can write a review and people will try it and might write illegitimate reviews. Now go ahead. What was the ones you had for this one? I don't actually know.
Let me get it up myself to see if I can even find them, because they might have got buried. One of them, which this is the day of it was released. I want my Supreme Commander back, and I'm just going, how is that helping at all?
Yeah, I think this is the better one
here's
here,
one.
isn't it? What? I mean,
Well,
better
look at
as
your
a good
screen.
example of how to write a negative review. Things they didn't like about it. What?
Visual downgrade, everything made out of plastic. I remember showing Morty, and he said the exact same thing. So that is fair. The graphics.
You know,
need some
this is a fair negative. This isn't
Yeah.
the one. What is the one you're talking about? Or just, you know, I don't want to dig through these. Just fucking recite it by memory. Paraphrase a little.
I want this one I found called Play to Demo feels like a mobile RTS port. I do not agree with that at all, I'm going to be honest. Because just because it has a building slots does not mean it's a mobile RTS, so that one is not good. One of them the day of was, this is not Supreme Commander.
Yeah,
I'm just going,
that's one I've
Clone?
noticed. The more big things I noticed wasn't with this game. It was actually Darkhaven, where there's a lot of reviews, and some of them are negative or good, but some of them are like completely like random. It's like, I don't like that the woman is cute, or like, I don't like that there's destructible environments. It's like,
what?
I don't like that.
By the way, the cute
this is
woman
not
thing, that didn't
Diablo.
actually happen. That was just an example. But there was
Yeah.
one, because in this trailer, right? I'll show you the Darkhaven thing, because we're going to be talking about Darkhaven anyways. So this is another game I do recommend trying. It's really cool, but it is an alpha and a proof of concept. So bear that in mind. An alpha proof of concept. So
Yeah,
it's from the original creators of Diablo 1 and 2. We did check the people, and they have a good track record, the people behind this. So it's a good chance it's going to be a good game. Good chance, by the way. Not guaranteed.
I enjoy design.
But the big thing here is that the levolution, like the mechanics and the destruction environment, is like a huge feature. And there's a lot of negative reviews I saw that were like, I don't like this system and they should remove it. It's like, but this is like a core feature. You know what I mean?
it's up to 74%.
I know. It's just, this is why I'm airing the thing of, just remember, some reviews might be people that just didn't like the game. That's why if a lot of these, and the big thing, reason why I want to bring this up is because a lot of developers might be like, oh my god, it's only 70% for my game or 65%. It's not the end of the world, because yeah, your demo means that there's no gate for which people to be filtered to that wouldn't have liked their game, right? Some people will give your game a chance that never would have otherwise if there was a pay filter, right? As in you had to buy it. And that's gonna happen. But demos are an innately good thing, because at the same time, it means that more feedback can happen. I also want to say this purely so that people who look at reviews scores for demos don't judge games too harshly for having 50% or 60% or 70%. Remember that people that get a chance to play the demo, there are a lot more people can comment on it than they would otherwise have. People who wouldn't even like the genre to begin with. And just remember that it's important to be critical and supportive, but critical of bad things and constructive with your criticism. Saying things like, oh, this isn't Diablo 2. It's like, okay, well, yeah, it's called Darkhaven. Or, oh, this isn't Supreme Commander. Yeah, it's called Ashes of Singularity 2. Now, saying, oh, this is Ashes of Singularity 2. Like, I really don't like how they removed the builder function from the original game. That's constructive. That's good shit. That's better. Oh, I really don't like how Ashes of Singularity 2 has, like, everything's super pastel and things look like toys. They need more texture and the colors are too flat and too much. It looks too toyish. It doesn't look good. Good criticism. Good critique. Excellent stuff. Try to filter those reviews out. Just ignore the ones that are like, yeah, it's Supreme Commander. No shit, it's not Supreme Commander. It doesn't say it on the tin, does it? No. Now, if it does something wrong, yes, point it out. Don't blindly defend something. But at the same time, don't go into these demos for these games going with the expectation that it's going to be something. Try to go in with an open mind. Because one thing I want to point out is that all these demos are actually excellent. I recommend trying all of them. All these games that I'm showing so far are on my wish list right now. I fully intend to pick them up to stream. I'm going to stream Darkhaven. I'm going to stream Wanderberg. I'm going to do all these things. I want to play them. They're good. Like, well, I'll put it. The demos were good, and so I'm convinced. Like cargo haulers or whatever the fuck it was called, or cargo hunters, like that one too. I did not think I would like. I actually really like cargo hunters, and I actually want to pick cargo hunters up too. But yeah, that's my little PSA on it. River donates a membership. Thank you very much. It said Morty Choice and Pacemaker, Space Monkey.
By the way, Keeps,
Hold
do you
on.
want me to...
Space Monkey donates $2 and says, please preview Panzer Dragoon's Vi. I will. As soon as I'm through this list, we will take a look at it. Now, what was that, Bino?
I made the Chibi for tomorrow. Can I make a little quick thumbnail for you, or do you want me to just make the Chibi
Yeah, just make the chibi earth and then plaster it on thing. Don't make a background.
Yeah.
Don't waste time. Don't waste time on something that might not do well. Don't waste.
All right.
Chet didn't fund a thumbnail for it, so I don't want to invest like a
No,
huge
it's
ton of
not
money.
a full thumbnail. It's just a quick idea that I had.
Yes, but remember, time is money, and every second you draw is seconds I pay for.
Yep, Grifford sent 2 memberships. He swung and he missed.
Thank you to get the memberships. The next game I want to highlight. Wait, where was it? Because we got sidetracked on that stupid subject. Okay, Darkhaven.
Far West.
We're not there yet. It's there. Next up is another game from Calypso Media, the guys that make or publish Tropico, produced by Kite Games. The new Sudden Strike World War II game is surprisingly good. I like this one quite a bit. You know, I'll switch to the demo page because I don't think people actually enjoyed this demo at all compared to me. So, for example, this demo is at mostly negative, and that's why I wanted to highlight that thing that Fuzzy talked about. Now, just because it's mostly negative, don't dismiss this game, please. There is problems, though. For example, this game performs like horrifically for some people. For me, if you watch my stream, it plays pretty buttery smooth. There's a little bit of hiccuping in the beginning, but once things are loaded, it runs really smooth. But there is a lot of people that are having huge frame rate issues. So this game has a robust destruction mechanic system where it has voxel terrain and bombs blow up like craters in the ground and stuff. Now, it's nothing new. Other games have had it too, but it's got like these really cool physics, body parts go flying, and you can definitely kind of tell that they're not quite stable with the build. It might have been too soon to launch this demo, but I want to highlight it because it is good, and I think I'm going to pick this game up. And by the way, no, none of these people sponsored me, nor do I have sponsors to begin with. Last time we had a sponsorship deal, I turned them down, said no. Because I can't do it, because it will affect my opinion. But I actually really like this game, and I feel like I want people to give it a chance. It's a real-time tactics game, but it's got performance troubles, and it's really fun. Also, it has a really nice visual aesthetic. My god, I don't think I've ever seen World War II tanks with their lights on in a game before.
No, Zuja, he's running a 4090.
Yep, I got a 4090 with 32 gigabytes of RAM. I have a slightly damaged CPU because I have that faulty CPU. But I had
He's
some...
got a 13th gen Intel.
One of our friends, Freg, who works with Microsoft, along with my programmer, Robin, helped me stabilize our CPU. So it's basically locked to run at a certain rate, which has prevented it from continuing to degrade further. So we've managed to bottle cap it. But I do have a partially degraded CPU because of that. And I want to point that out so people know that. I also use solid states for everything. But yeah, this game was pretty fun. It's a fun little real-time tactics game that's set in World War II, and it just feels good. It's the combat feels good. Tank combat's good. It's got deflection, armor bounces, weapon shots miss. There's a lot of combined arms gameplay. Very mechanized. You can call in air support, call in reinforcements. There's like trenches, bunkers, buildings you can garrison. You can destroy bridges. You can build bridges. You can build pontoon bridges, which is a really cool mechanic. And so I really enjoy that. There's like things like hull down mechanics and stuff like that. Reinforcements come in by a train like that, which I find cool. When you secure railways and stuff like that, and checkpoints and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's sort of like a sandbox strategy game, a la Blitzkrieg style. And it's, or like the previous Sudden Strikes. If you like those style games, you'll probably like this one. It's pretty fun. It's a lot of fun. The only thing I wish a game this would get would be co-op. That's the only thing I really want. Like I could wish list something. But yeah, it's got two playable factions in the demo. You can do the Soviet mission, the defense of Sevastopol, I believe, and you can also do the battle for Cassino in Italy for the Allied campaign, where you control British forces or you control Soviet forces. You don't get to play as the Americans yet or the Germans. That's going to be in the full version. And if it's like the previous Sudden Strike games, they'll hopefully do a Pacific expansion. I remember playing Sudden Strike 4 and not super caring for it. They even had like a French campaign, which was kind of cool. Or like an early German campaign into early France, which was really cool. But I remember not really being able to get into this. I don't remember why. Not sure if it was some specific reason. But yeah. So they're basically releasing their 5th Sudden Strike game. And I will point out that they did 6 expansions for it. One that expanded the Finland Winter War, Dunkirk, the Battle of Kursk, which was not well received, Africa Desert War, which was actually pretty well received, but not very many people bought it, and the Pacific War, which again, yeah, it's a bit of a niche, more RTS game, but cool World War II game. I recommend checking it out. Sudden Strike 5 was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot more than I did 4. Any comments? Anybody else?
I really liked the sound design. That's something that really took me by surprise with how good everything sounded. Like the sound of the tanks firing, the artillery hitting, like it all just felt good. It wasn't like hollow or too high pitched or anything of that nature.
Oh, yeah. And the other thing I enjoyed
And
was
the terrain deformation.
the terrain deformation is cool. The sound effects are cool. But the one other thing I also enjoyed quite a bit was that there was a lot of like little gimmick mechanics. And they are gimmicks, but I really enjoyed them. Like the Battle of Sevastopol, there's a combat armored train you can actually use in the battle, and you have to control different railway nodes, and you can resupply and restock it. And you have to basically, the whole point of it is you have very few units, and you're trying to use your combat train by moving it on the rail tracks to various points of the city of Sevastopol while you're trying to hold it from the German siege. That was cool. And the ability to construct bridges and stuff like that, and pontoon bridges, was also really cool. That, I really enjoyed those things. Because it's like, oh, that's nice. That's like showing things in World War II that most games kind of just either neglect or never talk about. Like the use of pontoon bridges, because the Germans would blow up bridges. Bridges were incredibly important. It's literally how they'd stop an offensive or buy time, is you'd blow up bridges. And having that as a mechanic was really nice, and the destructibility was really cool. So yeah, worth checking out. Think it's a solid game. Another really cool game that I was originally skeptical about, I almost removed it from my list of things to stream, was a game called Cargo Hunters, indie developer from Order of Meta, which is a single-player game currently, but is meant to later be...
See you later, Fuzzy.
Take care, Fuzzy. But will later be a co-op game. And I'll show you the trailer for this. Its atmosphere is really good. Damn.
That was Kib's every run.
Yes, you could loot their arms in battle. I just didn't do it. Oh my god, it looks so scuffed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Cargo Hunters is basically a game. It's sort of like an extraction shooter, but it's PvE focused. No PvP whatsoever. And it's single player. And there is the potential of co-op that they're going to be doing in the future. And it's entirely PvE. No PvP. And that's what caught my interest in this game. It's basically a better Forever Winter. It's got better gunplay. It feels like it has a better sense of vision for what it wants to be. I don't think it has any mechanics that are particularly annoying that I found in the demo. Like, it respects the player's time. Because, again, that water mechanic with the temporary base thing, again, that doesn't respect your player's time. This indie song is going to get me claimed again. This indie song is getting...
Not your $2, no!
But yeah, it's very creepy, very eerie, dystopian future where some communist government or something collapsed on Earth or something.
Yeah, it's like
As they
according to
do.
the store
As
page,
they-
it's all the wealthy and powerful people left to redacted, and they now pay these robots, which may or may not be people in the robot body, like digitize their consciousness, may or may not have happened, to go and find random bullshit to sell to the rich people.
Oh my god, it's Wally!
Yeah, it's basically post-apocalypse Wall-E.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good.
And the important thing is mechanically it seems pretty good, but it's not PvP, and they're going to be doing a co-op thing. I don't know if co-op will be when it comes out or if it's for the 1.0, but they said that it's going to be single player focused with co-op. So,
Yeah,
Nice.
this is a lot of fun. I definitely want to pick this up. It was funny because I was totally expecting this game to be just like something that wasn't going to be up my alley. And for the first time forever, because usually these games aren't. Like Forever Winter, I love the idea of it, but it's just so... It doesn't know what it wants to be, is the problem. And this game is like that game Tarkov, right? A game I never really played because it was PvP, so I avoided like the plague. And so I just sort of chalked these entire genre up to be not kid friendly. But it is kid friendly. This
not
game
kid
was
friendly.
yeah, not kid friendly. This is kid friendly as hell. Kib enjoys this genre. It just Kib doesn't want to do PvP version. Yes. So yeah,
Here we see Gibbs in his natural habitat.
you can make
Single player.
different reboots and you can put different parts on your reboot. The repairing animation is cool. There's a lot of heart in this game. The atmosphere is really good. It reminds me eerily of Dead Space, not necessarily like the themes, but like the how they do the atmosphere. There's like a lot of work in the music and the ambiance, and the music and ambiance keep an air of consistent sort of tension, which I really enjoyed because it felt like when I was inside the factories or exploring that there's always something creepy, or like the bulls smashing on the cargo doors. Like that was just like this constant air of freakiness. And then going into the basement and dealing with that thing, which if you play it, I won't spoil, but like there's a point that happens and it scared the piss out of me. But yeah, it's pretty fucking good. I enjoyed this quite a bit. And it rewards exploration and discovery. And the game doesn't really hold your hands. It's pretty respectful to you as the player, and it treats you as an intelligent person. And I really appreciate games that do that. It was very much hands-off, sort of like you learn by exploration and by just engaging with the mechanics, and it's kind of how I think game design should be done in a lot of ways. Just treat the player with a little bit of respect their time, and let them sort of freely tackle the game systems however they want, and they'll naturally learn how the systems work, which is kind of how that worked out. It's pretty good,
Yeah.
especially with like how to target enemies. Like the discovery of mechanics and what to shoot at was entirely based upon feedback from me getting shot, noticing my arm was red, had to repair my arm, noticing how certain things would break and it would affect different mechanics, like how could I move? If my arm is damaged, I can't aim as well, stuff like that. And it was like, okay, it was really good to discover this game because it was really nice because the game is very intuitive. It kind of just the UI in the game just teaches you how to play without the need for yellow paint, without the need of tooltips, without the need for a tutorial for the most part. It's just as a quest, and then you beat that quest and the game ends. The demo ends. And it's really good. And I fully recommend trying this one. It's quite fun. So yeah, there's another good video game for you, chat. Look at all these good games we found for you. You can thank me later. We already covered Darkhaven. I really enjoyed that one. I hope you guys try it. This one is going to be huge. I saved this one for last because I had a feeling that this is going to be like the blowout success of the year. I think Evil Raptor is going to be huge. This game, I have a feeling, is going to be massive. It's basically, so if you like Deep Rock Galactic, if you like Helldivers and that sort of vibe, this game captures both of those in a unique and refreshing way without just being a clone of those things. You guys remember when we mentioned about a year ago, or 2 years ago actually, since Helldivers 2 has been out, we mentioned that there would be games that would be affected by Helldivers design philosophy eventually in the future. That day has finally come, and the first game that I've noticed that actually implements a lot of similar systems is Far Far West. It can be played single player, but I'll be real, it's more optimal with multiplayer. It is technically a friend slop game, yes, but this game is going to be big. It's going to be popular. It's going to be a success. You can just feel it. The music is good. It's got charm. It's got heart, and it feels like it's got a lot of rich character about it, and it knows exactly what it wants to be. And so it seems like it's definitely going to be a big fucking game.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. It looks good. It sounds good. A lot of the abilities and weapons are fairly unique and actually feel like upgrades as opposed to just side grades.
Yes, it's
A
very.
lot of the enemies are interesting.
The enemies have unique mechanics. They're interesting. The weapons all have different unique play. I didn't really get a chance to get the other weapons unlocked, though, but yes, I did watch other people play with the other guns, and they do work and function differently. And weapons can be upgraded, and with static upgrades, or that basically passively upgrade them as you make incremental progress. It's pretty good.
And there's like with the whole roguelike stuff, you can upgrade your character and apply what they call jokers, which are special modifiers to weapons and your character.
Mm-hmm.
That do things from like increasing damage, changing fire rates, stealing explosions, or cause your feet to squeak like a duck.
Yep, silly things like that. But it's very much, like I said, if you like Deep Rock Galactic, you're going to like this. If you like Helldivers 2, you're probably going to like this. What might not capture you is the theme. If you're not a fan of Wild West stuff, it's just going to be a matter of taste thing. But it's a Wild Wild West. You're playing as robots. There's skeletons, and you got to fight the skeletons and stuff like that. And
I mean,
go ahead.
Oh, I will say, like, I honestly don't care for most Wild West settings because I find it to be boring. But I still really enjoy this game. It's a ton of fun. Like, it's
Yeah.
unique enough to where you don't have to necessarily want it to be cowboys for it to be good.
Yes, I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of cowboy stuff too, but I had lots of fun with this game.
Yes.
He's not a big fan because he's not proper a marabou yet. We're grooming him.
Damn.
Not gonna happen.
It's happening now. Slaps the fucking thing. But yeah, it's pretty good. And so,
Yeah.
all in all, there's a decent haul of little demos that we tried in this Steam Fest. I'm not sure if I'll try more, but my list of games has only grown from the Steam Fest by like 7 games in total, which I'm pretty satisfied with. 7 games to look forward to is actually making me quite happy because I actually have games to look forward to. And the most notable thing is that none of these are from AAA, none of these are from major established IPs. They're all independent or AA, and meaning that
hmm
the age of the AAA, like we called, and like other people have called, not just us, but many people have said for a long time, is finally coming to an end, which is good. It's good that AAAs make big budget titles because it's nice to have a big budget title that's good, not bad. But it's finally nice to see that their other little studios are finally climbing up to the surface, and that vacuum that has been sort of not filled for a good while is finally being filled by new studios, smaller studios, and they're going to start becoming bigger and more expansive. And yeah, some of them will get bad, some of them will get good. That's just how reality works. But the reality is that this year of gaming is going to be very strong. We started off the year pretty strong, like pretty decently, and it looks like after this Steam Fest that this year is going to be a very strong year. Last year wasn't so bad. It wasn't too many amazing titles last year, but this year 2026 seems like it's going to go on to roar quite nicely. And the nice part is with all the little games, the littler AA's and indies are going to be eating very well this year from the looks of it. So that is refreshing. So I figured it would be worth highlighting that on today's Fireside Chat. Let's see if I have another thing sent to me, I think, on a DM. Probably from the squirrel creature, if I had to wager a guess.
Yeah.
I believe Space Monkey asked it for a
Yes, he did.
review again.
And good job.
Yeah.
It was called, whatchamacalls it again? Panzerzwei.
It is called Panzer Dragoons Y.
It too is also at mixed. But that's like every demo, by the way, in the Steam Fest.
Yeah, a lot of the demos have had lukewarm reactions.
So, Panzer Dragoons Vi. I know literally nothing about this game. Does anybody here know anything?
No, I've never heard of it.
No, I have not.
No.
All right, well,
I think I heard the name before.
I will read the description then, because we're going to need a little bit of information about it. It is a remake. Panzer Dragoons Vi is a refreshed edition of the second entry in the legendary rail shooter series. I have heard of these games, but I know nothing about them. And yeah, they're rail shooters. Taking you into a unique world where ancient ruins, imperial power, and mysterious creatures shape the fate of an entire continent. So very big and fantasy. Let's take a look at the trailer. And then we'll take a look at the reviews and see what people have to say about it. Now, I haven't played this demo, so I can't confirm really much, but I'll look at it because I was paid to. So highlight targets and you just pop them. Damn. Well, so much for building those big ships. The little Durgan fucking shot him down. Like, whoop.
Damn, not the cute airships. Ugh.
They chose the wrong side of history.
Just should have used the Durgan.
Why did we construct bigger ships?
Damn.
Let's take a look at the reviews and see what the peoples have spoken about. Despite my initial reservations about the graphics, I actually don't hate them as much as I thought they would. Alright. They very much give Bizarro Xbox game. Ah, yeah, it does have that original Xbox vibe to them, which is nice. It's a good era. Which is fitting with Orta. This is Orta an abbreviation with something? This is where my compliments for this remake end, however. In the original game, when you first take flight, it's genuinely a magical moment. The level is ramping up, the music is swelling, your dragon tries to fly again, and you're doing it. The music fades, and the game gives you a brief moment of respite to look at the gorgeous view of the clouds, and then it's back to it. In the remake, however, this moment is completely ruined. The animation of Lagi fails to sell the moment the music is basically already muted, killing any tension that gives and the enemies appear almost immediately. This kind of thing is what the remake does constantly, something that is technically correct, but just completely sauceless. The animations, effects, sound effects, etc., all of them are toned down in a way that feels like nothing. TLDR, absolute sauceless remake. Please just play the original.
Damn.
So basically, it doesn't capture the mood or method. Unreal shooter like Star Fox, says the Space Monkey. Well, Space Monkey, does that critique sound fair or no? 21 people seem to like
Never
it.
even heard of this game, so.
So play the original, and let's do some positive ones. Relaxing with really nice graphics. The only thing I didn't like was the audio. The sound effects feel a bit flat, so sort of echoing what the other guy said. Don't build the tension I expected still. Again, echoing the same statement. The demo shows a lot of potential. If they improve the audio, it could turn out to be a really great remake. So it's good that they did the demo, because it means that they can potentially redo those things, because I assume the game is not out. If I had to wager a guess, and no, it is not. It's slated for coming soon. But yeah, this is why demos are good too, because it allows you to get initial feedback. So that's good news. It means that they can actually listen to this and make course corrections based on that.
Hopefully they do. We'll see, though.
Last rail shooter I played, my god. Oh my god. Ah, the Halo one in Dave and Buster's. The one where it's 4
Spartan
players.
Ops?
Yeah, that rail shooter where you got 4 people and you like control the guns. You go. Brrr.
There is a race shooter for Halo.
Yeah, it's 4 players. It's a
Yeah.
big box thing you get into. Big TV.
Yeah, it was like a way to link, I think, like 3 to 4 or something.
Yeah, there's like four players in the rail shooter, and there's 4 chairs, and then there's seats, and then there's like the guns you hold, and then you aim them at the screen, and then you shoot. It's pretty
Space
cool.
Monkey says they are patching and listening to feedback. Well, that's good.
That's good.
That's nice.
And that's why these demos and Steamfest is a good thing. I'm glad you highlighted that, Space Monkey. Because Steamfest has been nothing but good. All this feedback, like the optimization issues with Sudden Strike, the various issues with Ashes of Singularity's user interface and sound effect choices for user interface options, like hopefully that negative feedback can be listened to and developers can then make course corrections. This is why it's very important, in my opinion, that developers start considering not only normalizing demos, but also just showing people your game ahead of release, letting them play it. Demos should not just be normalized, in my opinion. They should be heavily pushed. Like, we should be pushing almost every game to have a form of demo of some sort. Because a demo allows people to feel the game, not only give it a feel, but then point out any problems with it so that we get better products as a result. What? Go ahead.
I finished it.
You finished it?
Yeah.
Bino, that's not related to the conversation. Be like,
But yeah, demos are very much a good thing. I hope this is a trend that continues. I don't necessarily know if we'll get console demos back like we used to have them, but for sure on Steam, Valve was pushing that pretty hot and heavy, and it seems a lot of indie and AA's are very receptive to it. AAA's are going to stick their heads in the sand and be dumb.
Yes.
Because they think it's a danger or something bad PR, but it's not.
Yeah, it's only bad
Because
PR
they
for
say
game
that
shit.
demos.
Yep.
They say that demos lower sales.
They're wrong.
So the big
But,
thing
no,
about
they
demos,
cite-
not necessarily wrong. They're actually partially correct. But here's the thing, right? We have to extrapolate that further. Because technically speaking, yes, demos can actually torpedo a game. A bad demo. But that's not, like, the reality is if you're going to make a demo of your game, you need to make it good. Like, that's the important part of making a demo. You must pick the best part of your game or a good piece of it and be like, all right, this is a good snapshot of the game to get a feel for it. The example of this demo in particular being the thing that sort of killed a game was specifically, what you call it?
I don't know.
Fuck. It's kind of an overrated game retrospectively, but it wasn't a bad game. It just was overshadowed by its competition. Spec Ops: The Line. It came out in an era when everything was kind of gold, and it was a good game, but it immediately got buried because it was only a good game in a golden era. And because the demo was only mid. And that's a sign of the times. It basically came out shoulder to shoulder with like a couple other big titles, and people looked at it and were like, no, I'd rather invest into this game because it's way better, or it's a more stable IP. Spec Ops Line then sort of face planted and looked up from the ground with a sad expression. And that's an example of it. But those circumstances are rare. And not only they're rare, it's kind of the fault of the game. Not every game needs to have a demo either, right? In the case of Spec Ops Line, the twist of the game was kind of the big selling point. So maybe having a demo would have been a bad idea, because the entire idea of the game is to build up suspension about the whole, like, you're not following orders. You're just, your orders were just to take a look and then come back. And then you just kept going and going because you became a glory hound. But yeah, there are cases where that's the case. And Blake also points out, no, Morty, they are right. It lowers sales for bad games. Yes. That's also the other thing I was going to point out. Technically, they are right. It does lower the sales of bad games. So they have a negative incentive. Morty is right in the sense that there's no reason not to have a demo. In fact, usually not having a demo is a bad sign. Wouldn't you agree, Shmormu?
If a game doesn't have a demo, that tells me that they're not actually confident in their game.
Yes.
I would not buy any of those games if I hadn't played a demo.
Yeah, the cargo haulers, I was apprehensive about it because I'm like, oh, it's
We
an
all call it
extraction
cargo haulers, by the
shooter.
way.
Oh god, it's a cargo hunt. God,
It's
damn
hunters.
it. Anyway, but watching Kibbs play the demo, I'm like, oh, I'll actually pick this up.
Yeah, I would have skipped this game had it not had a demo. This game right
Yeah.
here would never have given the chance. You know, the other game wouldn't have? Would never have given Far Far West a chance. Darkhaven, same thing. I looked at this and originally was like, Like, I was skeptical of all three of these games. Also, Windrose. Windrose, I was also skeptical of. The only ones I was going to try was Wanderberg and, like, 2 RTS games, and that was it. But had they... And now I intend to get Windrose. I'm going to buy Darkhaven. I am going to buy Cargo Hunters. And I'm also going to buy Far Far West. They have literally gained sales from doing demos. And I know that many Chatfish are influenced by seeing our footage, wanted to go try the game. Some of them decided to buy it, some of them didn't, and some of them are now wishlisting it to pick it up. So again, demos and word of mouth carries. It has potency. Letting people try your game is an important thing. There's no bad in it, unless your game is bad. You know what I mean? Like, if you're just selling bad slop, then yeah, no one's going to like your game. But even so, even if you're like a little indie dev, you know, and you're working on your own thing, having a demo allows you to get criticism. Like, we played that one game. What was it called? The one bad demo we played.
I don't
Death
remember
Scourges.
Death
Yeah,
Scourges.
Death Scourges.
Death Scourges, like, the indie guy, you have a really cool concept for a game about, like, a team going in, like, you're basically Umbrella Corp, but you're, like, doing, like, a Spec Ops thing. You got, like, a whole group squad of dudes. Really cool concept. But you need to ditch the AI. Like, I'm sorry. AI code and AI thing and AI this, like, it feels. Versus these handmade games that have no AI in them, like, they just have more soul to them. Yes, it means your game will take longer to make, but if you want your game to carry weight and you want your game to be good, do not use AI. AI is a crutch. And the minute you enable the use of a crutch is the minute you start handicapping the entire game. You set yourself up to fail. It will take longer to make a good game. Making a good game isn't about pumping out games. This is the problem. The AAA industry is hyper made people think, like, if I don't make like a game every year and pump out a new Call of Duty or a new Total War game every year, like, we're just not doing it right. We need to pump out faster. No. Fewer games. You should make 1, maybe 2 games in your entire lifespan. Maybe 3, maybe 4. And they should be fucking amazing, or they should be great games. We don't need more mediocrity. Take your time, right? And trust me, I know the feeling. I know exactly how you feel. Like, oh my God, like, years have gone by and I've worked on my project and, like, I have, like, some gray hairs now. And sometimes, you know, that voice in your head gets to you and you're like, oh my God, like, man, I really wish we would have this out, or we would be much further along. The reality is you need to focus. Keep working on it. Don't give up. Don't fucking do that thing where you just all of a sudden start rushing. Because the minute you do that is you're undermining every bit of work you did before. Stay the course, Keep chipping away at it. You will make something good. You just need to be patient. Be open to critique. Put stuff out when it's ready. If there's pressure to put stuff out, just be honest. Yeah, we don't have it ready because of the X reason or this or that, or maybe something happened to the cat, whatever. But things happen, but keep chiseling away at it. Keep chiseling away every day. Don't be like those other developers, and I've seen them, and I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get in drama, but there are some developers out there who haven't posted an update for their game, and Steam puts a little tag on their game letting people know that they haven't done anything with it. If you haven't been updating your game and doing anything and working on it or doing anything at all, and you're just suffering from burnout, it's okay to be honest. Honesty and transparency is okay. You're human. We all make errors. We all make mistakes. It happens. No one will fault you for that. And if they do, so be it. Those people don't matter. Be like, all right, like, listen, I've been working on this game, and there's a game I'm not going to name, but they're obviously lying about working on it, is all I'll say. And you just need to come clean and be like, listen, I'm struggling, like, this is hard, or something happened, or something of some nature, and like I need to take a little bit of a break. Just say it. If you're solo deving, if you're just two people, just say it. Just take a break. There's no shame in it. The reality is that you're developing a game. It's a passion project. If you're struggling to maintain your passion, forcing yourself to lie and stuff like that is only going to make you resent the thing you're working on, not cherish it. And you're only going to start to hate it. So just be honest. It might be hard to say this, and just let them know. It's like, I didn't want to disappoint you, but like, here's the reality. I'm struggling and I'm suffering like from this thing, and I just need to take a bit of a sabbatical. I need to take a little bit of a break and just detox, because there is a thing in the workforce, and it's called burnout. Burnout, everybody gets it. I get it. Bino gets it. Binsky gets it.
I got it last week.
Yeah, everyone gets it. And when it happens, it's okay to put the pen down. It's okay to put the keyboard down. It's okay to step away. Just step away. Take a week, take 2 weeks. Get through the burnout. Do not push through burnout, because what you'll produce will be fucking garbage. And if you lie about it, you're only doubling down. So just come clean and just tell people, hey, I'm struggling right now. Things at home are okay or something. Like, it's okay. Just be honest. People understand. Everybody's human. Things aren't going so good for me. I need to take a break. Shit's been rough. I'm not giving up. I just need to take a break for a bit. No harm in that. Just do it. Just do it.
Okay, see you guys in 2 weeks.
No.
Goodbye, Indio.
Damn.
Does this pep talk? Indio.
You can give me his money.
If we don't hear from him in 3 weeks, his cats ate him.
One quick tip, unironically. If you're dealing with burnout, for example, in a game or a hobby or something like that, one
We're
thing
talking
I
about
do,
development, not necessarily games.
but one thing I do is like, when I have a very severe burnout, I find another thing to do for a few days, and I don't go back to whatever I'm burned out on until I like for 1 or 2 days. You know what I mean? And that does help me a lot. It's why I started learning 3D modeling again, and have been pestering Bafius for Bifius. And we have been like learning together and stuff like that. Well, mostly me learning from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I need to lower him down my level so that I'm joking.
Yes.
It's
Yeah, but like,
me.
But
unironically,
but real quick,
unironically, Chatfish
before we
is
finish,
good.
the last note on that, the reason why I say that is because when I see games that use AI slop or stuff like that, like, the reality is, if you're using AI as a placeholder, that's fair, but I would recommend, and I still recommend vehemently, and I do this, because the minute you let yourself use AI for a crutch for development is the minute you made your first mistake. Just,
It's not even a good crush.
yeah, it's not. Just don't use AI. And the reason why I tell you this is because it's not because, like, oh, pushing the little guy down. It's because it's bad habits. And I've done bad habits where I took like shortcuts on things where I'm like, oh, that's gonna help me out, and then I have to go back and go redo something because I'm like, nope, that did not work out. The reality is
also-
that sometimes it's okay to understand that things are going to take time. And that's all I'm saying. That's why when I see indie games and there's like AI in your game, like the reality is I'm gonna keep saying it. And the same goes for AAA, right? Like I like Stardock. You're chill dudes. I've talked with them. We got a good rapport, but I'm still not a big fan you used AI in Galciv. I'm still not a big fan you used AI in Sins of Soul Empire 2. I think that was a mistake. And I'm glad you've since seemingly changed that and you're starting to use regular art again. That's good. I think that's a better improvement. I think it was an interesting experiment, but I think the reality is that AI is something that should be for people who are just messing around with stuff. It should not be used in a commercial or production sense because it's a bad crutch. The minute
From the consumer perspective, if I see your product has AI, I will not buy it.
Yeah, it's more than fair. Can't fault you.
Chatfish's AI, when making a game or using any software, the only thing you do with AI is like AI. I got this error code, and and that's it. You use it to debug some error codes because like AI is good at googling stuff, right? The
Oh, you're
issue
talking about
with
search
coding,
algorithms. Okay.
yeah. No. Unironically, I use ChatGPT instead of Google for some things because it's faster at giving me the answers I want. But like the issue of coding in AI is that what's going to happen? I'm going to TLDR. You AI do me this code, and then like you put the code in, and there's a problem, and then you tell the AI there's a problem, and the AI you literally say this. Oh, you're right. There's this problem that can be fixed this way, and then there's another problem, and then like, oh, you're right. There's this problem. Silly me. Fix this way, and then like you just go into a loop. And because I've seen people doing that, and then they called me like, hey, can you help me with this? And it was simple stuff most of the time. You know what I mean?
But yeah, but it comes down to it, just don't use it. Like if you're using something for like search stuff or whatever, like that makes more sense. I'm mostly talking about like don't use AI to be the thing to make your code or make the art. If you're using it for a
Yeah, you're
search
right.
algorithm, I don't give a shit. Like that doesn't matter. That literally doesn't matter. It's literally just being used as a search engine. You should always be fact checking whether you're using Google or anything. So
Mm-hmm.
that's not the issue. The issue is when you start using AI to conduct the actual production of assets. That's when it becomes an issue. Using it for like Grok, give me references for big titty anime girls. It's no different than typing it into Google. It's literally the same thing. It's literally the same. There's really no difference there. The thing is you generally want to use multiple search engines anyways, just in case you're doing things, or if you're doing research for like lore writing, usually you want to do double checking of things, make sure that if you're like doing a historical game, because you got to be careful because sometimes there's certain things that lie.
By the
But
way,
before we move on.
yeah.
But yeah, so like that's usually always double check your sources is what you usually want to do. Double checking is not a bad thing.
Yep. It's a tool. Make sure you don't become so reliant on the tool you're unable to do the things yourself.
Yes, because it'll weaken your creative muscles. Much like exercising, you need to exercise your creative muscles. If you let the AI do everything for you, then you're just, what are you for?
We already see this, by the way, in studies that have been done, that there's already an alarming rate of people who are getting more, for lack of a better term, retarded from over reliance on AI.
I don't know if you guys saw it. There are AI prompters that are burning out of AI because they are getting delusional about it.
I don't.
And
Okay,
like,
we're going off subject.
yeah,
I'm not really here to
game.
talk about AI. I'm here to mostly just give tips on other developers so that they
Mhm.
hopefully avoid mistakes that might bite them in the ass. Because this is mostly focused. I don't know if other
yeah.
indie devs are listening to this particular stream, but just so that they are, because it's good methodology to have, and I want them to have the best chances of success, and that's how I believe that best chance of success is by constantly exercising your creative muscle, keeping that worked and charged. That's it. That's all we had to say on that.
Nice.
All right, Chatfish. Next stream is StarCraft. Wow. Woohoo.
Are you going to play with that mod that makes people cartoons?
No.
Ah, okay.
I don't want that. I like how like the Carbot thing is cute, but like I'll be real, I kind of prefer the original graphics. But either way, so
Mhm.
we will see you in the StarCraft stream where we will rescue a Confederate general. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for sharing our opinions, and also thank you for disagreeing with our opinions and telling us your opinions. Remember, Gibbs is always right, and if he's not right, well, that's unfortunate
Minus
for Kib.
500 Kib credit.
Minus Kib
Minus-
credit. Minus Kib. Yes. So we'll see you guys in the next stream in a few minutes. Take care. Goodbye.